Freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. What do all men in power want? More power.
My name is Luca. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom. Here we go, guys. This is Luca. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.FM network. You know, really, I want to use every day, every second I have on this radio and also on the internet to broadcast, to try to make a difference. You know, this republic is under attack. This is the main reason why I'm here. As a new American, as a naturalized American, for me, it's my duty on top. And I really believe that the biggest weapon that we have, it's information, it's knowledge. We cannot face an enemy that we don't know. I mean, we need to start to understand who is real, the real enemy. And one of the enemies that really I believe we have, it's the control media. Because most of the control media, they are part of this problem. They give us a very much of distorted reality. They tell us exactly what they want us to tell us. And if we don't have right information, I don't say opinions. I'm talking about facts, that they are pretty much the way they're supposed to be. We're never going to be able to understand what's going on. So that's why in my show, I always encourage every one of us to become journalists, to at least to report facts. I don't care if you're on a local level, county level, city level, or internet, or world level. Now with the internet, you can pretty much spread around news everywhere. So we got to be active. That's my little goal here. So I wanted today bring with me as a special guest a family. It's a job, is the fruit of labor and also, of course, love of a couple. Two people, two regular people from part of these United States, in a state that I've never been there. I would like one day to go visit. You know, the only way I had a chance to learn about the state of Idaho, was through a book called Patriots, that I really enjoy, by the way, but that's another story. Anyway, the gentleman that I'm bringing today here with me, his name is Michael-Emery, and of course, even I don't have it right now on the show, it's his partner, her name is Becky Hudson. Anyway, let's start with Michael. Michael, are you there?
How you doing, Luca? I'm glad to be on your program today.
Thank you, Michael. Listen, I want to go straight to the point. You know, first of all, I always like to give a little introduction as a person, who you are, because you know I always believe that, like in chemical, we are the results of it's like nothing gets destroyed, but you know everything we are today is the results also of our past. You know, the way we grew up, the things we believe. Give us a little bit shortly. Who is Michael-Emery, and more important, where you been? You know, what is your past? Is your professional past and beliefs and everything you are?
Okay, well, I guess first off, I'll just say that I did a stint in the Navy on a torpedo weapons retriever as a diver, and more of a swimmer than anything. And then I went from there into the U.S. Army, and I spent about a year, and then I got borrowed into contractual duty as a contractor, and that's where I learned a lot of foreign weapons skills and other traits. So it's a long history of those type of events that led me up to today. Back in just before 9/11, I worked undercover in Nashville, Tennessee, and that's where I really woke up. And I found out that senior individuals in that area were the ones bringing the drugs in. And so I whistle-blew on it, and it turned into quite an interesting thing where I was attacked by the good guys and the bad guys. Mm-hmm. And I had good agents within the departments get me out here to Boise, Idaho, and that's where I've lived mostly ever since.
Okay. When did you move to Idaho exactly? Which year? Just to have an idea.
2002, I moved here.
Okay.
And I worked for Weaver's Engineering. We were a Class 2 manufacturing license dealer, building weapons. You can have a special license to build machine guns and stuff, plus Title I guns, semi-automatics, I built thousands upon thousands of AK-47s, FN, FALs, G3s, you name it.
Wow. Wow, interesting, because I should bring you probably after next time in the second hour, because normally in the second hour we talk about guns. But what I'm interested now is really amazing that from this very let's say warrior-like, you chose the path of the warrior. That's your nature, and that's why you dedicated your life, and also you took an oath to defend this republic. Now you continue your fight and your commitment in another type of war. It's called the info wars. You are here right now as a member of independent media with your outlet. Please give us exactly the name of the main outlet that you have for your Voice of Idaho. Give us everything, website, information, how people can know more about this.
Okay, well, what we are is the Voice of Idaho, not Voice of Idaho, but the Voice of Idaho, or you can type in tvoinews.com.
Okay.
It goes right to our website. And you can contact me directly on my email, and it's tvoimgun@gmail.com.
Okay.
What we've done here is, after Nevada, I recognize that the information is complete. That was more like the Tea Party of the modern day age, and that the court of public opinion is the courts, the real courts. With enforcement in the right way, there wasn't a shot fired, but we stood tall in Nevada.
Yes. We're talking about the Bundy's Ranch, just for in case.
The Bundy Ranch,
yes.
Correct. And so what happened was good agents within the BLM and the Bundy Ranch and 3 percenters and Oath Keepers all banded together, and for every one man was there was 2 or 3 men en route. And they backed down, and every time since then, the 3 percenters up here in Idaho have stood in Oregon on the on a mine there. Oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of the mine.
Okay, and we know the situation with the BLM and the mines in Oregon. Yes. Yeah,
and then there was one in Montana. But in any case, what TVOI News really is I decided to create the media the way it's supposed to be, where they can't demonize us. All our information is sourced and documented. I have people like Jeff Wright, former Naval Intelligence and NSA, that's saying the right things. We have stories like the Constitution and National Security crisis talking about Benghazi.
Yes.
And we got questions to help people about Benghazi, like did you not receive direct notice through classified or other means of events in the attacks of September 11, 2012 in Benghazi, Libya? Those kind of questions.
Yes.
Helping people and informing them. Now we're getting ready to open up, and we'll need some help from people to open up a northern division in Idaho so we get full state coverage.
Okay, this is like an independent media, like let's say a magazine. It's an electronic magazine, online magazine, where you have real reporters. I mean, people reporting the local news that normally you wouldn't find probably in the regular papers, correct? That's right, and we have we're all volunteer staff for now, but we're soon to monetize it. We are an LLC, limited liability corporation. Wow! So we are expanding. One of the things that we've done as well is we crossed the wire to try to help someone else create their own media. We've taken the hits. We know what works, what doesn't. Yeah. So this is very good. The reason why I wanted to bring you here is so important for me. First of all, because I believe that everybody out there who's trying to win this information war, at least to be part of it, engage the enemy. It's important. It's vital. Right now we're at the stage that we must, it's our duty to try to wake up our fellow Americans and people around the world, because this is not just an American struggle for freedom. Of course, here we are the last line. I really believe that. But also I would like to share what you've been doing as an inspiration, because, you're doing your job for the state where you live. But there are a lot of people out there, maybe in their counties or in their cities or even their neighbors, I don't care, in their neighborhood. I mean, they can do something. Today, the Internet allows us to do things that we couldn't do it before. And, let's not take it for granted. The Internet may go down, may be censored. And now I would like to first of all say, this is pretty much like you and your partner, your lady, that you've been doing this together as a family, right? Beside the volunteers.
Becky and I have both worked together. It takes dedication. Anybody that gets involved with this are going to have to understand that it's going to take a dedicated team, because Becky does the Facebook through social media. That's so important. Mm-hmm. And then I go out and I've done a little bit of psyops, and I know about intelligence, and so I can help steer some people in different directions in the positive level and not a negative level, and to get the information out. So it's going to take a little management, but it is a dedication that we spend all our waking hours on this.
Exactly. You know, this is the message for everybody, but also, you know, a lot of veterans out there, they feel like almost now they've been discarded, and by the way, now they felt used, many of them, and I don't blame you. Now, patriots, veterans, they're on the top list for Homeland Security. This is not a conspiracy. It's a fact, as potential domestic terrorists. Guys, I really believe this is an inspiration, because people like you, more than ever, you know, that you have the skills also to organize. Today, it's the information war. And if you have anybody, maybe you can get a young guy or somebody that, you know, a little good with the websites and can help you out. This could be a great way to start to propagate around the states, to create really a free flow of information that cannot be shut down by the controllers. So I think this is a great inspiration. Now, another important thing I was going to ask you, you know, first of all, did you hear the news that it's now mainstream, the Obama administration with the Attorney General Loretta Lynch announced at the United Nations that they will be working in several American cities to form what she called the Strongest Cities Network, SCN. That means there will be an international police under the United Nations laws to fight extremism. Instead of fighting, you know, the terrorists that we know that they've been funding anyway, like ISIS and Al-Qaeda. No, now the focus and the energy and the tax dollars is going to be to fight extremism in American cities with this new type of international police. Have you heard about that or covered that in your news?
I've heard a little bit about that. We try to stay on top of everything. One thing I can say is there are some cities that are almost hopeless, and then there's places you want to live in the United States and places you don't. Mm-hmm. Chicago is not one of those places you want to live, and that's where they would probably implement it first.
Well, remember also that the cause why they created this crisis, you know, these globalists, they're always good to create a crisis, then they give you, you know, a reaction, and then they give you the solution. And that's the model. I mean, think about Chicago is the result of their policies, you know. They completely got it down, the Second Amendment, and and now they have anarchy, of course, and now they say, okay, now we need the United Nations. I consider this an act of treason, in my opinion, because not only the police supposed to be local and independent, that's why this is supposed to be a republic with 50 different states and independent counties and local governments, different from Europe, like there is a centralized police for every state, for every country. And also the fact now they want to put some sort of support and under the guidelines of these United Nations. This is very scary, because right now what they're implementing, that they may also have foreign, let's say maybe not directly like enforcers, but like consultants, police officers from other countries. That's what is called part of the global police. I'm sure you're familiar with, there was an executive order by Obama. I talked about that a few weeks ago. This is not even new. It's about 2 years old, where Obama gives the immunity to the Interpol to be operating on U.S. soil without being constrained by the Constitution or any of our laws. Immunity means like you have a diplomatic immunity. Means that, let's say they want to get you, they can break into your home, they can arrest you. In this case, they would be kidnapped, in my opinion. And, of course, they would be even not persecuted because this man acting as a president, he signed an executive order. Are you familiar with that executive order with immunity for the Interpol?
I am a little bit familiar with it. They also tried to do a child support plan. We had a 1067 bill that came in that we were instrumental in stopping, but then they did an emergency session. But it all works within corporations and their connections. And we have Vicki Davis on staff, an excellent researcher on all these events. We have such a great team. And, you know, folks, what it really boils down to is the sovereignty in your own heart and what you're willing to stand up and put up with. And by your very voices, we are taking them by a storm right now. The positiveness that's going around, the Trojan horse of the internet, we've won the information war. And now we're having the hearings with Hillary Clinton right now. I'm recording. And I tell you right now, they're on the run.
Yeah, I see that for sure. Listen, that's why we got to engage. Because sometimes, it seems overwhelming, but we have no other chance. We got to engage, and I see there is a lot of changes. That's why I really believe they are incrementing all the dose of tyranny against us with the new legislations or executive orders. Now, let's talk about something that is really is happening in the heart of your state, the situations with the refugees from Syria. I know you've been pretty active in that, and you've been following the situation. What's going on? How many refugees Idaho is allowing to have, and what is exactly the feedback, the response from the people, the regular people? Are you happy with that?
Well, they're not happy with it because we've been having a lot of refugees from like Somalia and everywhere else move in these areas. We don't have the economic status to promote it, give any jobs to them. But what happens is they're coming into an area that is already impoverished. People have lost their jobs, and they say, oh, the unemployment level is zero. It's zero because the unemployment is gone for people, and they're scrapping around doing whatever they can, living a couple of families in a home. And unless you work for the state or the government, good luck having any kind of job less than minimum wage.
Wow.
It is bad for people out here. If you are a family and you find yourself homeless, the best you can hope for is maybe some overnight stay at some shelter.
Wow.
But you get on a list for 2 years to get any type of help.
So sad.
For housing. It's dismal. And then they take an area like this oh gosh, I can't even think of what the
resettle to resettle.
Way, right. Yeah. And our culture out here, they're scared of. We're standing up strong, and they don't know what to do.
How many refugees from Syria do you know that your state is allowing, your governor is allowing to be in Idaho?
We are not exactly sure because they can come in, like let's say they can come into Nashville, Tennessee. But when they land, they can move them anywhere across the United States they want. So they're taking these refugees in many respects and putting them into areas like this, where you see them as much.
You know what is very sad? You just told me the economic conditions of the average working man in Idaho is pretty scary. Of course, Arizona is not different, really. The sad thing is that we are forced to pay. We are forced, because this is an extortion, our tax dollar is going for something that, of course, I don't believe in socialism, but at least if I had to really be forced to give it, I'd rather to give it to my local fellow American. Instead, we are giving now money that we do not have. We had to borrow from China or from the private Federal Reserve to people that, honestly, they don't supposed even to be here. I mean, we're talking about every refugee not only is getting the cost of transportation for free, but also the cost of lawyers, and more important, we're talking about thousands of dollars. There was like at least $1,000 bonus. I don't know if it's called a bonus, just to when they come. Okay, and meanwhile, we have to think about a family man has lost his house and he doesn't know what type of meal to provide for his wife or for his children for the night. This is amazing. I'm amazed that it's really people that are not really completely going crazy, because this is so sad. This is so sad, and I'm telling you, I see the same things happening in Europe, same things happening in Italy. It's a global problem. They're doing intentionally in our face. Probably they're going to see how much we can take of this crap. I don't know. But Lisa,
not lost though. This is a beautiful thing. Look, we only get $800 a month in respect out of disability.
Yeah.
All right. And that's it. And we've got a few donations in here and there. Matter of fact, I've sold off about anything that isn't nailed down to keep this going.
Wow.
But we've done it on pennies.
Yes.
You don't have to be rich to do this. All you need is an internet connection, some sense of a decent camera, and the willingness to learn.
Yes. No, that's why it's so amazing. That's why I want you here. I want to say, guys, everybody out there, go to their website, please, and give it again, please, the website. I want you, everybody, go to
TOI News, the Voice of Idaho. We're top on the Google search list. We're getting 48,000 shares on Facebook alone. We've already passed 3,000 friends list.
Wow.
And are curving better than any other group in this state.
Excellent.
And
So
what we'd like to do is offer to anyone out there that's wanting to create their own media, we're Special Force Media to you.
excellent.
And I'm here to help serve anyone that's out there to try to get the truth. And by the way, one of our mission goals is to challenge mainstream media. We caught Channel 7 out here lying to the American public and exposing our Secretary of State of selective enforcement.
Yes.
But that's what we have to do.
Yes. No, this is so important. That's why we have solutions. There is no excuse. The enemy wants us into psychological warfare, that they want to tell us that we're already dead. No, we are not dead. Until we are alive, it's our duty. Till we have a little bit of drop of blood in our veins, it's our duty to ourselves, to this country, and to the next generation to fight back. And thankfully, now is still the time to fight back with information and news. We must win the heart and minds of our fellow Americans and expose these scumbags. That's the goal. So that's why, please, guys, don't start to say, I hate when I see a lot of people out there, oh, don't worry, when the day comes, I'll be ready. You know what? This is BS. This is an excuse. We don't want to go there to that point. We want to avoid that point. We want to stay peaceful and take it back, through peace, through information. And
there may be times that we have to stand, but we stand in the right way. And folks, I also have a way to be able to provide that proper mechanism by communicating with your local law enforcement, because they feel just like we do.
Yes.
And they know who the bad guys are. The demonization program to our good people inside the machine is immense. I have friends in the ATF that they have what they call Fed Hill. Their wives homeschool, non-GMO. They know 9/11 was an inside job. They know this everything.
Oh,
they're more
gosh.
truthers than you can possibly imagine, because they have to live this every day.
Wow.
That the day of reckoning is over. The decompartmentalization is complete. Folks, it's time to get off your haunches, stand up, and do something about it, but do it in the proper way like our founding fathers did.
Yes, this is amazing. I'm very excited. At least before we go ahead, I'm going to have a guest on the show. His name is Lee Wilbarger, that supposedly he contacted me on Facebook, and he said that he was there at the Pentagon the day of 9/11. And, I wasn't there, but I can see with my own eyes. I see the video of the CNN that was aired only once, that you can see very clearly, according even to the witnessing of the reporter, that there were no bodies, there were not any type of structural parts of the airplane, especially a commercial jet. No, and the hole at the beginning, the original hole of this Pentagon was only 15 feet before the wall collapsed. So, I don't need to be a professor, a scientist, to have any type of special degrees or be there. I could see with my own eyes. But the gentleman, that by the way worked for the Department of Defense, and I can verify also online, he wants to be on my show, he said that he was there, and no, there was a plane, and he was collecting part of the bodies. What do you think about that, according to your experience, what you know as a former military guy, also as a guy with a brain and two eyes? What do you think?
What do I think?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What I think about it is that as I've done investigations.
Yes.
Okay. I've worked overseas and I've worked PSYOPs, and I understand one simple fact. We can go through everything about how they created it, how they did it, but the simple fact of the matter is that it took national intelligence to do that. We have complicity between different factions like CIA, Mossad, MI6, all of it. Okay, they're all criminal elements at the top of the spear.
Mm-hmm.
Putting all the good FBI agents were in California, and they couldn't get there.
Wow!
Look, the whole situation I've examined, and I took chain of custody with peer review report to a U.S. attorney on the dust from the towers with the examples in it. And at the very minimum, in a peer review, they had to address it, or they're complicit to the fact.
Yeah.
That's what we have right now, folks, is complicity to the fact and the treasonous actions within our State Department.
What do you think, specifically about the Pentagon, the Pentagon is the most probably surveilled part of the world, I believe. There are more cameras there than anywhere else. And suddenly all the cameras disappear. All the videos, security videos, they were gone. And only after 2 years later, after lawsuit, they were given some sort of a few images, few frames that show like there was a blast, but there was no plane. I don't care what O'Reilly says on Fox News. Can you see the plane? No, I cannot see a plane. I see a blast. But more important, if you watch with your own eyes, that very easy to find video on YouTube by the CNN. This is not just some sort of a conspiracy theory. There was a very mainstream control media. But that video on CNN, the first few minutes after the blast, the reporter stated, there is no plane here. And you could see with your own eyes, there is no plane. What do you think specifically about the Pentagon? You think was a plane or was something else?
No, it was obviously a missile. And here's the scary part of it all. Just like what happened in Oklahoma City, I know for a fact that Oklahoma City, they were getting ready, at the Alpha P Mural Building, they were getting ready to expose what happened with Waco, and they had to do something about it.
Wow.
That was a farce. That was an absolute farce, and I quit the agency back then.
Wow.
And I lived for 5 years doing other things. But the Pentagon, the point of it is just 2 days before, Rumsfeld came out and says, we're missing trillions of dollars. And the very investigative agency in office was the one that was hit. Everything about 9/11 was to cover up for prior crimes to buy more time.
Yes.
That's what all this is about. And we got to wrap all this up to one simple point.
Yes.
These people want to kill off 80% of the population with a custom designed disease.
Yes.
And that's something for another program. But in my understanding, they already released it, and it went to the wind. With the H1N1.
Wow.
All I know about the Pentagon is that it was a lie, like every bit of it was. There's so many holes in it, it'll make you sick. But we continue to go along with the lies. We just get a report now that we've been funding the terrorists.
Yes.
Open source now.
Yes. And, this is, guys, just to let you know, because if I say something like that, most of the times people think, you're just a freaking immigrant, you don't love this country. That's fine, that's your opinion. But you know what, this is coming from a guy that not only was born here, that means Michael-Emery, also served your country, you took an oath, you serve also ready to die for this country, and I don't think you have any...
I'm still pulling out pieces of metal out of my body.
Exactly. So this is my point, guys. Please, grow up. I'm not here to be right. I wish I were wrong. I always say that. But till we don't recognize how much we've been conned, how much we've been lied and cheated, and only then we will find out a way who are the real responsibles, and we can fix this problem. So we got to really step up. I really know a lot of friends still in good faith, maybe, I don't know, maybe just because they have afraid of the truth. Many of them, they are veterans. They don't even want to talk about that. They're afraid even to mention the word, inside job.
Would you like a solution that everybody can concentrate that will take the onion layer down of their cover? An absolute way of doing it.
Yes.
We have such a monstrosity of evidence on Benghazi right now with the stand downs that they say we have national security and that they work with Homeland Security in your own very towns with your law enforcement. So you take certain questions we have online, we have 7 questions we ask. Then you take those to your politicians and you hammer them and you say, you need to talk to the Department of Justice. The DOJ is covering up for these crimes, and they have become ineffective. They are complicit to the facts because they are failing in their duties, and they are actually covering up the evidence.
Perfect. Listen, I want to leave you now, but before I go, as always I do for my guests, I want to give you 1 minute. You can say whatever you want. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Folks, get informed. Do what you can. It's not hard to create your own news outlet, but always remember to source your information because you can't be wrong once. They can be wrong 100 times. And if you can do that, we're documented press in the state of Idaho. We're not just some alternative media, which legislators actually look at our website to educate themselves.
Wow.
So if we can do this on pennies, you can do it. And my door is open to anyone that wants to try that.
Give the last time the website, how they can contact you, please.
Okay, it's TVOI News, the Voice of Idaho. My email is tvoimgun@gmail.com.
Perfect. And you know what? I would like really next time, maybe next few days or whatever, next week or so, to be in touch with you because I know you are very much into guns. And the second hour of the show, normally we talk about guns and training, so you would be my perfect guest. I hope to have you there, okay?
Okay, and I can also talk about the realities of what it's like with the results of these weapons, the good, the bad, the ugly, what you can expect.
I would love that. Listen, it's been my honor, my pleasure. I really am so happy I met you. We found each other. And guys, please don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. More exciting news and more solutions against tyranny. Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. You know, the purpose of the show, it is not just to talk about things that they are, like, let's say, facing the reality, you know, all these problems. We know we need to face first the problems, but then also to find solutions. And I always said, who is the solution? Who's going to save America? Who's going to save the world? Because this is not just a problem about America. All humanity is under attack, you know. So at the end of the day, when you go to sleep at night, you look at yourself in the mirror, you know, you brush your teeth or whatever you do, and you look in the mirror, and guess what? You are the answer. I always say, you know, I don't care which level. I don't care if you are in America, if you are in Europe, wherever you are. We must understand that the problem right now that we have, because our humanity, our freedoms, our rights is under attack because the professionals, the politicians, that we let them do their job without us getting involved. They are being corrupted, they're being paid off, and they're working for the elites. That's why. That's why we need to start to get really back into the machine. There is no way you're going to fix the machine unless you're part of it. That's why I invite everyone on this show, everybody. I don't care which party, if you're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, whatever party you are, but human beings, Americans in this case, that they want to try to stop what's already here, the corruption, stop this globalization, stop this tyranny, go back to our basic human rights, okay? And especially in America, we have a Bill of Rights and Constitution. They should be pretty much keeping us all in track. That's the bottom line. You know, that's for me the foundation of every political idea. If you're infringing on my Bill of Rights, you are my enemy. As simple as that. So now my goal is to bring here regular people, and of course also I would like to have the professional scumbags out there, but more important I would like to have the regular people, regular folks, that against all the odds, they take the time, they take the effort, and they also spend their money. And also, you know, there's a lot of negativity. When you run for office, they try always to destroy you, make your life miserable, just because you're there. So this is my job. On Love, Guns, and Freedom, I would like to hear everybody, regular people running for office who wants to be here, try to get their message across. Today, I have a gentleman that I've been following even before he was running for U.S. Senate. At the time, he was running for congressman. His name is John Lewis Miller from Arizona. And guess what? Now I'm going to bring him up right now. He's going to tell us exactly what he's doing. John Lewis, are you there?
Yes, hello, Luca. Thank you.
Very good, John. Nice to meet you. Finally, we talk in person. I met you on Facebook a few months ago, and I've been following you when you were running for Congress, for governor for Arizona. Sorry about that. And,
yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your background, first of all, as an American, as an Arizonan. What exactly, where are you coming from? What do you do for a living?
Well, I'm an engineer. And I've spent, in between building the Miller automobile and Power Source in One, I've spent a lot of time traveling the state for investors looking for the perfect opportunity, the perfect place, perfect location, the workforce, the water. And I know my state very well. I know where the jobs could be, need to be, where the factories could be, what's clean, what's not, what'll work, what won't. And Arizona is actually it's been rated as the most corrupt state of the union, which is pretty scary. Mm-hmm. Everything is pay to play. So, as far as finding locations for these people, for these companies, they are shut down in Arizona, just about every other state, because the corrupt politicians, the corrupt bureaucrats, don't allow people to jump into the state and create business unless they're paid something somewhere along the line. Mm-hmm. And, I've been fighting this for so long, I decided I need to jump into the game and end the corruption.
So you are a business owner, small business owner. Exactly what do you do? You produce cars. What do you do? You work for hire? Explain me more, please.
Okay, well, the interesting thing is the Miller automobile that I have the website, MieleCompanies.com.
Mm-hmm.
It explains what the automobile is. You can download the pro forma just to kind of see what it's about. I was going for funding on this I already had my investor set up in 2009 for the money to expand from building the little side-by-sides, like the, what do you want to call them? Well, they're called side-by-sides. It's like a golf cart with knobby tires on it. You see them running around all over the place.
Okay.
I was going to make not make those, but, open up to automobiles, and I've got a powertrain system that actually produces electricity.
Okay.
For the vehicle.
So it's an alternative.
General Motors got involved, and they shut me down.
Wow. Okay. Interesting about that.
The U.S. Department of Justice backed them up. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, listen, I want to focus on your campaign, and by the way, I invite everybody out there who's curious to know about your business background, to start to Google, because it's so important, This is good to see. My idea is to see regular people that they create or they produce or they work for a living. They're not professional politicians running for office. That's the idea. Now, this year you're running for exactly U.S. Senate. You are from Lakeside, by the way, Lakeside, Arizona. Correct me if I'm wrong. And who is your incumbent? I mean, who is running against you at the same time?
I'm running against John McCain.
Okay.
Right now.
And how many other people you have in the run? Because I know that this is an interesting, very interesting race. This one. Who are your other opponents? I'm just curious.
It is. Well, I know that Kelly Ward is jumping into the race. She's a state representative out of Kingman, the Kingman area, the opposite side of the state.
She's U.S. state senator for the Kingman area, correct? Yeah. LD5, yes.
Yes, and then we have Ann Kirkpatrick. She's a Democrat that was doing basically the same thing here in District 1, where I'm at. And probably a couple other Republicans who I'm not aware of yet.
So under which party are you running? I mean, any specific party?
Yeah, the interesting thing is the new Secretary of State doesn't like third parties, so she shut down my ballot access for the party I was already gathering petition signatures for. And now I'm having to start over under the Public Servant Party, which I need to create specifically for this race. Because what's going to happen is McCain will make it through the primary. It'll be McCain, Kirkpatrick, maybe a Libertarian, and then myself, if I can get these signatures. If I can't get them for this year, I'm going to have to go for 2018 against Senator Flake.
Okay, listen, first of all, how many signatures do you need to be on the ballot?
I'm going to need another 20,000 by the end of February.
That's a big task. That's a big task for everybody, especially for, a non-professional politician. Now, question is, I want to give you the opportunity as much as I can because I don't know much about you, but I follow your post on Facebook and I see that you have a lot of great things that I like to hear, You seem to be very strong about the Constitution. You be very solid foundation about the Second Amendment and all the Bill of Rights. And that's what at least I see through your Facebook social life, Tell us exactly four reasons why anybody in Arizona that is allowed to vote should consider to support you, send you some money, or even just vote for you against, first of all, everybody out there. First of all, McCain, that most of us knows that is a scam, and that you don't need to be a genius, but also against, the new competition. Why you think you have better qualification and, more important, better platform than, for example, this new wannabe U.S. Senator, Kelly Ward? What do you got that we need to look into that for you? I want to give you the floor and I'll shut up. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, the first thing I like to point out is that every elected official who's taken their oath of office to defend the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, immediately when their hand goes down, they violated their oath of office because there's laws that exist that they have not said that they are going to get rid of. A law in New York against guns is a violation against the Second Amendment to Arizonans because we might travel to New York, we might travel through Pennsylvania, we obviously would, through quite a few states, our rights are violated. No one will take that to task. They won't stand up and say, hey, I'm going to do what my oath states and defend the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. They won't do it, so they're in violation of their oath, and that's fraud. It's actually criminal fraud. because they're continuing to serve in their official capacity. Well, that's one thing, and I think that's very important. Some people might shrug it off. Everybody does it. Yeah, they do. And that's why somebody going in with clean hands that has legal standing can actually do what the public tells them they're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And that would be me. So that's why public servant party makes sense, because, Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, they're supposed to be public servants, but they're serving their party. And the parties are serving the globally traded corporations, those on NASDAQ. That's what I like to just call them, globally traded, because they're globally owned, globally managed. Another thing is, I know where Arizona at least needs to put their efforts as far as money, or as far as industry, where our water needs to be taken care of. We have a couple dams that are getting ready to go, and no one wants to address the problem. We have a reservoir issue. The aquifers in the state cannot refill, but everybody seems to think, including Kelly Ward, that, it'll refill. The aquifer will refill when we get the rain. It doesn't work that way. They don't refill.
Okay. Well, speaking about something, I want to ask you something, since you mentioned the water word, okay? And there is so much, of course, I cannot cover everything on this show, but I invite everybody, first of all, to go to your website, so they can also ask you directly questions. What is your website, first of all? People can reach out.
It is jlmealer.com.
Okay.
That would be jlmealer.com.
Perfect. So
I actually have my petitions on the site. I just noticed I missed a couple colons on here, which I'm going to go back and add. I have the page up right now.
Okay, perfect. And
I would like
to ask you something.
And I also have the Public Servant Party bylaws and Constitution, and I know people will like that.
Okay,
and
great.
my first government fraud bill.
Very good. So listen,
sorry,
people can go to your website. That's great. I want take the time to go through all the different type of platforms, or at least the policies and ideas and beliefs that you have. As I said, wouldn't be enough on the show. I would like to bring you just in a couple of some sort of a controversial, if you want to do it. For me, they're not controversial, but let's say aspect that I know, for example, that Arizona Senator Kelly Ward refuses to address anymore, and she's been denying. Are you familiar with the weather modification that is being implemented all these years? And,
yes.
State Senator Kelly Ward refuses to believe that after all the evidence that we prove that since the last 50 years, the U.S. government is been testing on civilians with different type of bacteria and germs and also radiation. So it's nothing new. And unfortunately, weather modification is not a conspiracy. So she's gone numb, or at least she's denying all this evidence. What is your position about weather modification? Do you believe that is true and is a danger, or at least a potential danger to Arizona and to the Americans people? Or you think that, like Kelly Ward said, it doesn't exist?
Well, the government has patents on weather control, weather modification. They've been seeding the clouds for 100 years or so, ever since we've had aircraft in the air. It's already a well-known thing. We have climatologists out there that actually suggest how we can change the weather. So it's not like it's a big secret. There's no rocket science behind it, as the saying would go. I believe Kelly Ward was just afraid that she would offend a certain group of Republicans. And so she did a horrible thing to her constituents who had her at some of the chemtrail events, talking about them. Because whether an elected official believes it or not, it is their duty to stand up and have that investigated.
Exactly.
So whether she believed it or not, she should have had it investigated for her constituents.
I agree. That's a very important thing you said. Regardless that this is not about faith, okay? This is not about I believe. We have given enough evidence also of people that with blood tests resulted contaminated by some elements that normally they are pretty much present in weather modification, like salt of barium and aluminum. That would be enough for an investigation, but we didn't get anything like that. Now, regardless, I don't want to focus too much on that, but I would like to ask you one thing. You know better than me, I wasn't born here, that the 17th Amendment was one of the newest amendments that changed all the structure of this republic. For the first time, the senators, U.S. senators, they're no more elected by the state, but by the people.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? Is something that is dangerous to the principles of this republic, or is something that is okay for you?
Well, that's one of those toss-up issues because, you got those groups like Acorn that could come around, put together enough people that don't normally vote, which is who I'm trying to actually get together, and get them to vote for one particular person that could be a total communist.
Yes.
A total anti-gun, anti-freedom of speech, anti-freedom of religion individual, and they could be elected and they could come in and, ruin things. Which is kind of what happened already anyway.
Yeah.
But, having the states elect, that would be having the representatives, who the state voted in, the public voted into office, they would turn around and elect the senators. That's not a bad way to do it, but if we look at what's going on today, we only have Republicans and Democrats in office, so we would never have a third party elected.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the toss-up. Is it better to put it before the people or to let the representatives of the state who really don't represent the constituents elect the senators?
Exactly.
So see, that's a problem there. But like I said, you could have some really slick-talking guy with a lot of money come in and totally confuse people, bust people in from every other part of the state and have them vote and put in somebody, probably them, that we don't want in office.
Exactly.
So it's a toss-up.
I agree with you, and this is exactly what happened to Arizona. That's why we got stuck with John McCain all these years, because unfortunately we are trapped, as you know, into this party machine. It's like a cage they created for us to divide us. And of course, once somebody is able to buy enough advertisement to brainwash the rest of the masses and win the primaries, at the end of the day, a good Republican or a good Democrat, they are like good slaves. They don't matter. Doesn't matter who's going to be their dog on charge. Even if it's the devil, they must vote for that devil. That's the reality we've been facing. That's why I say it's time to stop these chains of illusion and fraud and start to think out of the party lines. That's why I want you on the show. As I said, I want to be honest with you. I know that the odds against you, they are 1 to 1 million. But the fact that you try, and regardless, you stick your head out there and you try, and at least you want to show that, you're not dead yet. Okay, we are not dead yet. That's what I say, guys. There is always hope till there is life. And sometimes, first of all, you do what you think is right. You follow your heart. By the end of the day, we got to try because otherwise they already won. So now my thing is, I want to give you this floor, this microphone, to give your call to everybody's listening. I don't care which part of Arizona or even out of state. If they believe that the regular guy has a chance to make a difference in Washington, you got this microphone and you got 2 minutes, whatever you want to say.
2 minutes. Well, hello, Arizona. Hello, America. I'm John Lewis Mueller, jlmueller.com. I urge you to go to my website, check me out, Google me online, although there's quite a few lies out there, and some of those political sites have misquotes. But go to my website, see who I am, contact me. My number's out there. You can give me a call if you want. And see that I am the only one that would stand up for the public, for the constituents. That's why I want to create the Public Servant Party, which the Secretary of State already knows it's on its way, and she doesn't like it. So that's kind of a good thing, because that means they're scared. They're worried that the good guys are going to win for once, that the people are going to have the voice, and the Constitution will be followed. Because right now it isn't. We're being crushed. We're being kept down in the dirt while these giant globally traded corporations run everything. And I'm telling you the globally traded corporations so you understand this is not your mom and pop store, but these are corporations that are owned by probably ISIS. I mean, you've got Americans, buying stock. You've got foreigners buying stock. You probably do have some terrorist groups buying stock in these corporations making money. So a lot of politicians making money off the very corporations that they make laws to protect. I want to end that. I want to end that, fix it so that America is on the even playing field again and we can all compete equally. No special gifts for anybody, no special laws for anyone, and we just really need to equal the playing field and give ourselves a chance. And I believe the only way to do that is to put somebody in office with clean hands, somebody with legal standing. You can read about it on my website. So they can do what must be done and put these elected officials on notice. I've got a letter going out to the nation's 3,007 elected sheriffs that's going to ask them to take a stand. Are you standing with the people, or are you going to stand with the, what do you want to call it, the phony law? I have no better term for that right now. I just ask that you check me out, check out my website. If you have a few bucks to spare, I know most people are broke these days, but I could really use it to get around, to get my voice heard. Once we get through the signature count, I've got some ads I want to put out, and maybe I can trump McCain on this entire race.
Perfect. And I was going to say something, number one, I would like to also you send a specific message. I will send this broadcasting to the office of Senator McCain and also the office of Arizona State Senator Kelly Ward. This is your competition, let's put it this way. We don't need to be mean or anything. We're always on the radio, FCC, but, you can be straight and forward. This radio is about freedom of speech. You can say everything without cussing to Senator McCain right now, and a message also to State Senator Kelly Ward. Whatever you want. It's freedom of speech.
Whatever I want.
Whatever I want. I'm not gonna. All I scare that no cussing, because this is an FCC radio. They're gonna shut us down. But beside that, you can say whatever you want. This is not Europe yet. We're still America. You have a freedom of speech.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I would like the nation's elected officials, from the mayors all the way up to the president, to know someone will be elected to office. Me, John Lewis Mueller, and I'm coming for you. You violated the law. You've crushed your constituents' rights, and we're not going to take it anymore. They're going to elect me to office either this year or in 2 years, and I'm coming for you.
All right. Listen,
and I've got the American people behind me.
One question. One little. I know you're from Navajo County exactly. Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Navajo County.
Now, just a little humble input, as a feedback as an Arizonian, why don't you ever consider to run also for lower office, like, for example, county supervisors, that I think people like you would have a great impact. Sometimes, I understand you try to aim for the big sale, I don't want to call it. I mean, the big target, becoming U.S. Senator is very hard, but also can be a great accomplishment. But sometimes, you can make a lot of great differences, even implement the beliefs on the Constitution and all the things I read on your website. In a county level, that is one of the biggest and most important form of government that we have. Why don't you consider to running for county supervisors?
Well, I have thought about that, but the roadblock for fixing things pretty much ends right there at the county, because the oath of office doesn't have the same impact that it does with a federal official, or with even the governor of the state. The local official, say a county official, they could stand up and say, okay, you violated your oath of office, I have clean hands, I'm coming after you. Really, they don't have the same power. They don't have the same platform. They wouldn't be able to stand in front of Congress to say that. They would be looked at as a nut, which maybe I'm looked at as a nut already, but I'm doing what needs to be done.
Okay.
And I don't want to be shut down beforehand. And if I am elected to a lower office and I can't do what I say I'm going to do, I either have to quit, and I don't want to be a quitter, or I have to become one of them, and I will never become one of them.
Okay.
Or I die in office. See, and that would be die in office before any laws could be made, or I could remove any laws, but I wouldn't have that power in the lower office. So it needs to be one of the upper offices. And I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it to serve America, to serve Arizona in this case, but, America fits in with it because all Americans have had their rights violated. In fact, as you were saying, the world's population is being so totally run over by these giants that it's just despicable. And we're pitted against each other like we're all enemies. An American could probably walk up to a Russian and they wouldn't know who they were. They'd shake hands, they'd be friends, they'd walk away. But if you tell them, hey, there's one of those dirty old Russians, why don't you go fight them? Yeah, if the guy's a fighter, he's going to go fight them. But otherwise, we don't know who they are. They're not our enemies as individuals. Maybe the military is, yeah, but as individuals, we're pretty much all on the same playing field.
Since you mentioned the word Russia, since I need something, even the time is short, I need to have a quick question before I let you go. What do you think about, is the America's business to be in Syria or in Libya or doing all the things that Mr. Obama has been doing? Or maybe we should go back to our form of, republic under George Washington that said his last statement before he left office, trade with everybody, but, allegiances with none. I mean, what do you think about, is it good that we have tried to mingle in Syria right now the last 2 or 3 years?
I don't believe we should be there. Now, if it was harming our national interests, of course, they'd have to be crossing our borders, because we shouldn't have natural interests overseas. We really shouldn't. We don't need to rely on any of those foreign countries in the Middle East or anywhere else for that matter. We could be trading with them, and we should have the import-export taxes, not the free trade garbage that we have. Because, the import-export taxes were taken away and they threw in income tax instead to take care of the offset. Mm-hmm. That's wrong. That's actually anti-constitutional. But no, we shouldn't be in the wars overseas. Of course, we started things, we made a mess of things. It would be a really tough call to say what needs to be cleaned up, what we've caused, what we haven't caused. And, of course, I don't know the exact details of anything. None of us do. It's all things that only the people that are elected and the big insiders end up learning. What really happened?
Well,
we know
one thing for sure, that ISIS is proven that according to not just ISIS themselves, but the words of the same politicians, they've been funded by our government. The Pentagon admitted it. They've been funding the part of this moderate opposition against Assad, and now we know that this moderate opposition is ISIS. So the point is, there is so much that the American people needs to wake up, in my opinion, that we've been taken for granted, and more important, they've been used, they're doing terrible things in our name. But that's probably show, I'll talk about this in another show. I want to invite everybody out there, seriously, that wants to look into every candidate. But in this case, we're talking about John Lewis Miller, to go to his website. And also I would like to say that, please, if anybody's running for office, in this case for U.S. Senate, and I know that's never going to happen. Senator McCain is not going to ever be here with me, but I invite him. I invite, of course, also State Senator Kelly Ward. And anybody else running on this race is going to have the same time on the show. And anything goes, you're welcome to say whatever you want. I'm not going to do like on Fox News, beep you or tries to start to talk over you. You got completely, your microphone. All I care that, we don't use language against the FCC. Listen, John, I really appreciate what you're trying to do. And thank you very much, and keep us updated, okay?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, guys, don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. More news and more things are happening, and it's time to really wake up.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on United States.FM network.
During a campaign stop in New Hampshire on Friday, Hillary Clinton said a nationwide gun confiscation via buybacks, like the Australian model, was worth looking at.
In the Australian example, as I recall, that was a buyback program. Several communities have done gun buyback programs. But I think it would be worth considering doing it on the national level if that could be arranged. So I think that's worth considering. I don't know enough details to tell you how we would do it or how it would work, but certainly the Australian example is worth looking at.
Here we go, guys. This is Luca Zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. And that was Hillary Rodham. I call her Rodham Clinton. Of course. Probably you say, what was that sound? It was an accident? No. I'm not apologetic. That sound exactly was the sound. The sound that somebody was disgusted and had to go to the bathroom. And I don't want to give you more details. And if you're offended, say, how dare you? how dare you? I don't give a damn if you're offended. Seriously. Honestly, I am glad if you still support that political whore, that, disgusting subhuman species of a rat that is not human. And I don't want to offend the rats of Hillary Clinton. This is so sad. I feel sad. I feel pity for you. Seriously. I feel pity for you as a human being. Not because this is a Democrat or Republican issue. I don't care. You know very well. I have no parties. I would say the same if it was a Republican. And normally I blast the Republicans as well. Because Hillary Clinton is the disgrace, for me as a politician, as a person. If you still have so much ham on your eyes, you can see the truth. You should even listen to the show. Don't waste your time. I don't care. The point here is that we have one devil, I don't want to call it a woman, pretty much telling us that despises our Constitution, our Bill of Rights. And she has an agenda, like not just her, like many other politicians, to disarm the American people. And just to let you know, this is not an opinion anymore. Now it's coming out in public. You heard her. She wants to take your guns. She wants to get to the model of Australia. Go check it out. The Australia buyback program, it wasn't like a voluntary, I have too many guns, I want to sell it back to the government. No, that was a confiscation. And of course was preceded by a registration. And why? We know why. If you listen to the show, you understand why. This is the final stage of this republic. And they need to implement this global government, socialist/communist/fascist agenda that is the same. People say, how can you be a socialist and you can be a fascist? It's the same. Don't you understand? Remember, the Nazi National Socialist Party, and so Mussolini was the socialist. Partito Socialista Italiano was created by Mussolini. Okay? The state controls everything, every aspect of your life. That's the bottom line. But to create the type of, utopistic nightmare on us for compliance, because not many of us may not comply, thankfully, they need to have us disarmed. So this is the final stage. They have a little problem. It's called the Second Amendment, the right of the people to keep and bear arms. And today it's a very important show. This is the hour about guns. I'm not going to, spend time too much about, which gun, review this gun. I don't care. There are the shows that do a great job. Go ahead, buy a magazine. I don't care. I don't care if you go out there, you get a Mosina gun worth $100. The point is now it's time to stand up. It's time to organize. It's time to realize that I am here on the air today. I'm not sure I'm going to be here next week. I'm not here if I'm going to be around tomorrow. You understand that? This is not a game. This is not a drill. And I'm not trying to be, dramatic. Seriously. Things are happening. And let me tell you something. Look at me like a canary in the mine, okay, coal mine. The moment that you don't hear from me anymore, guess what? Maybe it's time that you start to realize that things already started happen. Yes. And by the way, this not just to say, cannot happen here. It already happened in many parts of the world, okay? We're already here. And if people don't want to believe it, that's fine. I'm not going to waste my time to convince and use this airtime to try to talk to a bunch of monkeys. And by the way, monkeys, they're smart, okay? I don't want to talk with zombies out there that still believe that we live in a free country. Yes, I have this microphone for now. Yes. I have this station. I don't know how. Still let me talk. Of course. But the point is, there are consequences for everything we say. Not because legal consequences. After all, we have a First Amendment here. But guess what? We also living under Patriot Act, the National Defense Authorization Act of 2012. And I don't need to remind you, all zombies, liberal fascists, will you still support all of your guys, Congress included, Obama included, who voted for this travesty? Now, any one of us, I don't care who, I don't care, you can be called a potential domestic terrorist. That's it. Just because you are an alleged terrorist without due process and trial, they can forget about going to jail. Forget about that. I wish jail. You're going to disappear into the hole with the H. Okay? That's indefinite detention. So, I'm here at my own risk. I understand that. Now, meanwhile, I don't tell you all the details, but I'll tell you the final hour. I really see a lot of attention from federal trolls try to, every time I put out a YouTube video on my channel on Facebook or on my website, out of the blue, I'm nobody, I'm just a regular little guy. I have a little local radio show, and of course I have the internet, but still, I consider myself on a scale of 1 to 10, probably I am half. Nothing. A guy with an accent. Pathetic guy who's just trying to warn the rest of his fellow Americans and humans around the world. So, at the same time, I realize that I'm receiving a lot of great attention. They give me some sort of, compliments by guys, people, kind of famous also, that they are around the Department of Defense and different agencies that I will tell you later during the final hour. Now, how I want to use this hour. As I said, it's time to prepare. I will give you some deals. I will give you some opportunity, of course, and normally I do. But also, I need to start to say, I have a lot of friends, a lot of people out there, my listeners, say, Luca guy, you talk about the Oath Keepers, great, we like them. You talk about the unorganized militia, but, we're a little concerned. Every time, we join an organization, maybe some people, they're kind of little social. Maybe some people don't want to be part of a list. They don't want to be part of a database. I completely understand. I do. I invite on this show everybody because, I say everybody who wants to do something and wants to create something for the cause of freedom, to prepare, to try to train, educate our fellow Americans. It's great. So I invite everybody. If you are Oath Keepers, if you are the unorganized Oath Keepers, if you are some other organization, militia, you're welcome. Okay? All I care that you do not advocate for violence, but you advocate for preparation and for training, and of course to understand our Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence. That says it all. Read the Declaration of Independence. This is not the time to read it, but that's all I care. We stick to the principles of our founding fathers. By the way, that's enough to be labeled terrorist. If you read it now, if you bring now the Declaration of Independence and you read it, yeah, you're a domestic terrorist right there. So the reality is we are facing now, we're already here. This is no more like something that, is coming. No, they are already here. I'm sure you heard about it. There are a lot of bad news. And, for example, we talk about that, there are now different soldiers, different retired military people, that they are not anymore shy about it, to say that all the high levels of generals and officers, they have been summoned by Obama, and they've been asked if they're going to able to think, in case they need to confiscate guns from the American people, are you ready to give the orders to shoot on the American people? By the way, this is not me talking, okay? I will post the links on today's show, lovegunsfreedom.com, and you will see there is a former Navy SEAL, say Obama asking military leaders if they'll disarm Americans. And anybody that says no, then it's gone, seriously. We had the highest level of numbers of generals and colonels being fired by the Obama administration. There is some reason why, okay? Our army is completely, our armed force, at the lowest level since before World War II. And wherever it's left, let me tell you, they for sure don't leave the cream. Okay, now they have also illegal aliens that they've been given the chance to serve, of course. And that's what I want. So now, that's my bottom line. And there is another point, very important right now. The new Obama terror czar, because now we have czars, not just with Obama, with Bush too, of course, like in Russia. And this new czar has a new position to target conservatives and Christians. The Obama administration, increasingly controversial Justice Department, in partnership with ultra-leftist Southern Poverty Law Center, that of course they feature me, 2005, announced the creation of a new czar position to focus on domestic terrorism, especially the alleged threat from Christians and Americans with anti-government views. You see, before all this was created during the Bush administration for the people with the turbans, Homeland Security, you must be defended by from the terrorists. And then they shift immediately, the terrorists going to be these people that don't want to get along with this new global government. That's the bottom line. So Christians, people believe in the Constitution, if you believe in the Bill of Rights, if you believe in sovereignty, if you do not believe in illegal immigration, now, this is not more about freedom of speech or First Amendment, right to assemble, no. Now you label a terrorist. So let's not forget, this is just a czar, so they have the resources. They're going to have a lot of attention for all of us. So that's the point. Many of you guys, I understand, may say, look, I want to do something. I want to be prepared. I want to prepare myself, but I'm not a military. I'm not a soldier. And what can I do? And I don't want to organize, I don't want to join some of these organizations. I understand. And don't get me wrong. Whatever works, for example, the Oath Keepers, I think it's a good organization. If you like it, that's fine. But I do not believe in membership, honestly. I do not believe in cards and structures, I believe that our founding fathers started this at the real grassroots level, okay? Families putting together, neighbors, people that they've been going to school together. That's the way you start. So today I wanted just to share with you my humble, and this is humble, input about this matter. It's time to prepare. And in case you are even one person only, let's say you are one man or one woman, I don't care. If you are one trans, I don't care. If you are one gay, I couldn't care less. Everybody. I don't care if you're old. I don't care if you're too young. All I care that you can think, understand what I'm trying to say right now, and understand that freedom and this republic is really at risk. So it's our duty to defend, in my opinion, this republic, and also to defend our Bill of Rights, and also to defend ourselves. Because regardless, the first thing we got to do now is prepare, because they will come for you. And by the way, forget about now just these, the new Obama terror czar. We already talked last week. I already told you. There is now this new global police force, okay? This not only they're trying to nationalize the police, that's bad enough. Now they want to use this new global police force, okay? That's under the Department of the Justice, and of course with the United Nations. That means that you're going to have now this potential police force, like an international task force, like they have in Europe, by the way, the European police. That can be, made by people from different nationalities. So here we go. If the American soldiers, they were not anymore able or willing to shoot in the back to our fellow Americans, guess what? Now we have the international police. And by the way, if you don't believe me, that's fine. You ought to do is Google it. This is mainstream media now. So the point is, what do we do? First of all, we start to realize that this is all true. That's the fact. That's why information is vital. You do your research. Only then, when you realize that this is true, we're going to have the force, the strength, and also the moral ground. Remember, we are here. We are the law-abiding people. We are there counter-revolutionary. We are the defender of our republic, of our Bill of Rights, of our Constitution, of the foundation of freedom. These people are the intruders. These people are our enemies, as simple as that. When we understand that, yeah, of course, they're inside the room, the control room. They control the media, fine. They can put on the TV that, you, just because us, just because we believe in freedom, or we believe in religion, or you believe in the Constitution, or you don't want to go along with global communism, you don't believe in Agenda 21, you don't believe in global warming, you are a terrorist, whatever. They can say also that I have to jump. Doesn't mean that I'm going to jump. They know, though, that there is still one thing in this country, differently from all the other countries around the world, especially Europe or Canada. We have guns. We have so many freaking guns that they're really concerned. Now, the point is, though, are these guns going to be translating in, let's say, the guts to defend freedom? No, not necessarily. You can have all the guns you want. You can have your safe with 2,000 guns. Does it mean that you are prepared mentally and you're willing to defend freedom? Few of us, unfortunately, have already that mindset. But you know what? It's also, we have 300 million people. So we don't need to be all of us. They know it. Like the Revolutionary War. Not everybody, just a minority fought the British. Okay? That's the bottom line. Now, I'm not here to advocate for violence at all. I'm here to advocate for preparedness. Because you like it or not, they will come to you. They will come to you. I don't care. You think, oh, it's just coming for the bandits. No, this is not just for the ranchers. Next time they will come for your well. Then they will come probably for your children because you didn't take that shot. The vaccine, after all, now they are mandatory. And then they will come probably because you don't put the special GPS in your car, or you don't take the vaccine, or maybe they don't get you. They need to get a special, microchip for your animals, or maybe for yourselves. All this now, these things are real. Maybe 10 years ago, people used to laugh. So things are already here. They're not happening. They're already here. It's only a question of when. So I want to avoid violence. That's my goal. And how do you defeat a bully? How do you defeat somebody that thinks that can smash you down? Normally, bullies, they're cowards. Normally, bullies are like a pack of coyotes, okay? The coyotes, what they do, they go like, this 7, 8 little pack of shrinky little skinny coyotes. They get the weak lamb or the little dog. They surround them. They beat the crap out of him or out of her or whatever, and then they feast on him. Guess what? What if the lambs or the sheep start to grow some rams, some horns? What if they start to stick together, like at the bandits? You see, we didn't need to use violence. All we need to do is stand up, show that we are not going away, we are not going to bow down, we are not going to be your slave, and we have rights, and you are the usurper. And don't think just because you got a couple of rifles, you bought the last rifle in town. We're here. We're still America. Today you can still prepare. So the idea is to prepare. The idea is to create. I call it the family militia. Yes. Remember, in Arizona, we have the militia in our Constitution. Okay? You are already a member of the militia, you like it or not. Useful idiots, liberal fascists. Even if you don't want to be, you already are. If you're 18, between 18 and 45, you are. Go check it out. There is the unorganized militia and the organized militia. But more important, we are, each one of us, individuals. Okay? You don't need to be part of the collective. You don't need to be part of the militia. I am the Militia of One. That's the bottom line. Now, this is what I would like to do with you today. I want to share with you, normally people that they served in the army or in the armed force, they took an oath. People like myself, even I didn't serve in the armed force in America, I took an oath to defend this republic. And I'm proud of it when I became a naturalized American. Now, I made up an oath. It's a mix. And you can change it whatever you like. But we can take it together. Let's say you're a regular man, working man. You never had to take any oath. You were born here. But you know now things are changing. And you want to commit yourself. You want to organize. And I'm here to help you. I'll do everything I can. Even if this is a stupid radio show and I'm just a little wop with an accent, I'm doing my best to help you out, okay? At least to inspire you. Because if a regular guy like me, I was even born here, is freaking out, and I'm ready to die for this country, I'm ready to do everything I can to stop what's coming. Because this is the last place in the world that you have no idea how can be worse after America is gone. You have no idea what you're going to lose after this country is gone. I was there. I lived through it. This is the last place. Maybe not perfect, but we can take it back. We can make it better. But once it's gone, when we're going to fall in this trap of the Clintons or the Bushes and this global government and the rights, they're not rights, but privileges. And we have people like this Hillary Rodham Clinton, this whore, telling us that she wants to do, this, buyback, gun buyback, and the Second Amendment, must change. Guess what? Screw you, Clinton. Screw you. The only thing you're going to get a guy buyback is going to be led from the American people. You just try, whore. And I'm not even trying to be violent. I'm just telling you. You try to come and first confiscate my guns. It's my duty as an American to not give them to you. Let's try to organize now. Let's use this time. First of all, as I said, mindset. Number one, moral high ground. We're here law-abiding people. We're not here to look for violence. But they will bring violence to us. They will spit on our Constitution. They will already do it. They will spit on our Bill of Rights. They will tell us in the morning, hey, guess what? Sorry. Executive order. We must register all the guns. And probably the new police force, federalize, they're going to go along. Maybe some, maybe not. Who knows? And then, maybe another false flag. They always need these excuses, even if they're real. I don't care, said. You know how many car accidents we had last week and probably around America with DUI? Are we going to, ban all alcohol? Or put everybody who's drinking beer under federal registry? Are you kidding me? So that's the bottom line. They find excuses. Now, as I said, I don't care if you're one person. Let's take this all together. Okay? You can call whatever is your name. My name is Luca Zanna. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of this United States. I said this, not the. And the principles expressed in the Declaration of Independence against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I swear that I will never coerce others to do things against their will unless they infringe on other people's rights. We are not here to boss people around, okay? I will never steal from others. I'm not a freaking socialist. I'm not going to steal from you with the coercion of the government, okay? And I will respect other people's property. We believe in property rights. I believe in charity, but not in government coercion as a form of redistribution of wealth. And I will never surrender to evil, and I will use every part of my body, heart, and mind to resist communism, fascism, and any other oppressive form of authoritarian government that is against the right of the individual. So help me God. Or whatever God you believe. If you're an atheist, bypass this. I don't care. That's it. You're in. You're in. Now, how do we start? First of all, as I said, mindset. It's not about weapons. It's about mindset. I don't care about your age. You can be 60, 70, 80, 90, 20. You can be on a wheelchair. You can resist. It's your duty to resist. You don't resist just with violence. You resist with your heart. You resist with your mind. First of all, don't be part of their game. First of all, don't comply. Civil disobedience is the biggest weapon. I really believe that works. If every one of us starts to say no, guess what? They will freak out. It's like an illusion. Okay? Number one. Number two, we need to be prepared also to scenarios. This is since this is the hour about guns, Second Amendment, to unfortunately face the bullies. The best way to face a bully, to be more bully than he is. Yes. Weakness is not going to do it. You need to fight back. At least you need to show that you're not afraid. I don't care if the bully is bigger than you. If he understands that you are not going to bow down and lick his feet, and you're going to fight back, even if you're going to just give him one punch into the eye, guess what? The bully is going to say, wait a sec, maybe it's not worth it. I remember when I was in boarding school in Italy, I wasn't looking for violence. But I tell you, don't piss me off. Don't start to call, me names, and don't start to touch me. Okay? You put a finger on me, I'm going to put a finger in your ass. Okay? Watch it. And it's not going to be pleasant, trust me. Say, oh, how rude you are. Guess what? This is about death or life. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm rude. I really am. But this is not for me like we're talking about butterflies. Or let's talk about football. No, this is real serious stuff. Guys, we are facing something we never faced as this country, okay? So we got to be prepared. Number one, stealth, it's important to be stealthy because it's a tactical advantage. Say, look, but make no sense. It makes no sense. Look at you. You're out there. I understand, guys. Somebody has to do it. Or maybe somebody did it when, somebody has to do it. I didn't look for this. I started, without even knowing it. I did what I follow my heart. And maybe look at this. Maybe some of us, they're even not going to make it all the way, even before it starts. Look at me like maybe I am a canary as I said before, in the coal mine. The moment that you don't see me around anymore, maybe it's time you start really to get out of your homes and start to have a plan. Because that's the way it's going to happen. They already have names of us. By the way, they also have your name. Maybe if you think that maybe, you buy your ammo with cash, or maybe you don't go out that often, maybe you don't write a letter to the ideas, doesn't matter. They already got a database. They can see everything you do. But regardless, let's put it this way. You don't want to advertise that you're part of a militia. People like to do that. That's fine. Even there is nothing wrong. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a beautiful thing. It's your civic duty, especially in Arizona and states like Arizona. It's your civic duty. You should be proud to be part of the militia. You're here to help. You're a good person. Try to help in moment of emergencies, in moment of disasters, and you are trying to help to repeal enemies, foreign and domestic. What's wrong with that? Nothing. Okay? No, don't buy the garbage from the government, militia. Remember, the militia founded this country. We didn't have a standing army. Who fought? The regulars, the British, the militia. So anyway, you took the oath, first one. Number two, try to be stealthy. Okay? You don't want to advertise. You don't want to put yourself in some list of militia. Don't join unless you really want to join some. Just be yourself. You can start with one, but two would be always better. After all, the team, the two people, are the cell of every type of fighting position. Okay? You need two people. First of all, you need to sleep once in a while, and you cannot look at 360 degrees. But the point, even if you're by yourself, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's fine. If you don't feel anybody you're comfortable with, you start by yourself. So, but let's say you have a family. Maybe you have a wife. You have, children that they're not children anymore. They are young sons, teenagers. That's the perfect age to start them up. To start to share the values of the Republic, of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, to talk about things, to understand the news. That's information is the first thing. All your family must be on the same page. That's vital. Only when you understand the fear, I don't want to call it fear, but the dangers that we are facing, then you're going to have all together. Now, everybody can do something, I said. This is not just about shooting. Probably say, look, but this is the hour about guns. You didn't talk about guns yet. We're going there. But the gun part is probably the final part. Preparation, logistics, and, winning the heart and mind of people. So, at this point, let's say you are yourself with your wife and maybe your teenager sons or daughters, 16, 17, doesn't matter. Number one, guess what? You start to realize that among all the things that you have to do during your life, you have to commit yourself to prepare different skills. Because, I'm not saying that you must join special forces. I'm not telling you that you need to become like a Rambo. No. I'm telling you that at least you're able to do three basic things. Shoot, move, and communicate. The shooting part, believe it or not, it's the easy part. But let's start to address that quickly. As I said, liberty and wars never going to be fought or won with handguns. That's just for personal defense. You need to have a rifle. That's the bottom line. So I'm not going to tell you which rifle. You do whatever you can. Do your homework. There are a lot of choices out there. The price is still low. Get. Whatever you get, though, standard dies the caliber with your family. Find the caliber that you can share ammunition, you can share magazines, and you can buy bulk. If I could tell you, get maybe more than one rifle. But let's say you're a working man. Say, all you can do, for example, let's say it's a SKS. Great rifle. It's not a battlefield rifle, but it's still a great rifle. You can get probably for $250, $300. Great. I don't care even if you don't need to put magazines. Just use the stripper clips. Great. If you really train with that, you know how to, first of all, disassemble it, how to change parts, to clean it, and more important, how to load it, unload it, to do emergency reload, tactical reloads, and more important, shoot straight from 0 to 200 yards. I'm not telling you to become a sniper. I'm not telling you to do impossible things. But with the rifle, if you could just able to do these basic skills, first of all, be safe, shoot straight from 0 to 200 yards, have enough ammo, and also, of course, a way you can carry with this ammo with you. That's a basic foundation, Have a rifle, know how to use it. But I'm not talking about you have the rifle, you buy it, you clean it, you put it at the range, a few rounds, then you put it in front of the safe or whatever and stay there. No, you really must know that rifle. And I tell you, there are a lot of classes out there. And I will bring you next week probably some classes in Phoenix. But, you tell me. If you have any question, I can help you out, maybe even with Front Sight. I have a lot of membership. I have classes, certificates. If I can, I will help you out. Otherwise, I try to direct you to some local places or people that I know in your area. Okay? All I care, I'm not here to push anybody. All I care that you get some training. And by the way, another thing, if you're in Mojave County, I'm starting again during the weekends an event that is like my form of love and volunteerism, It's the Mojave County Rifleman Fellowship. So all we do, we train to become riflemen. We're not going to talk about politics. We're not going to, chat around. We shoot. We learn. We share with each other what we know. And the idea to become riflemen means the real Army qualification test would be to shoot at 4 minutes of angle. Okay? No benches. Just with your rifle sling. 3 positions. Standing, sitting, and prone. Okay? That's the bottom line. 4 minutes of angles mean that, at 100 yards, you need to put your group in 4 square inches. At 200, 8 square inches. Okay? That's the bottom line. And we want to also, of course, try to achieve the goal to shoot a quarter-mile rifleman. It means at 500 yards, you put your group in 20 square inches. Okay? Of course, that's why you need a battlefield rifle for that type of distance. But whatever you have, we'll try to help you out. Now, so you got to have the rifle. Whatever you want to get, I don't care. But whatever you get enough ammo, especially if you got calibers that they are not NATO, like 7.62 by 39, it's still cheap. Get it. Load it up. Because if there is a block, especially now with the United Nations and these treaties, they can stop the import, or they can create a super tax that is going to be impossible to buy. So, if you have a rifle, for each rifle, at least you should have 10,000 rounds. At least. And get spare parts for your rifle, okay? So rifle, first one. Number 2, you need a pistol, handgun, for personal defense. You're not going to be able to carry the rifle all day long, but you always have close to you. I always say you have your rifle no more than 5 rounds away. Your pistol, handgun, rounds. Okay? So, especially if you live in a state like Arizona, I carry with me the rifle everywhere, at least in my truck. Okay? But anyway, so you need the rifle, you need ammo, and you need the gear. Okay? And the gear, don't just keep it there. Once in a while, you remove the dust. No, you go to the range or wherever you go to the desert, or you train with the gear because you want to see exactly how it works. What you're going to put in the gear? First of all, ammunitions and magazines, if you have magazines, or stripper clips, whatever you have. Okay? What type of loads? Depends on the caliber. Of course, if you have 5.56, you're going to carry more ammo. If you have 308, you'll carry less. You know that you got to carry as much as you feel comfortable with. Okay? More important, number 1 thing you need, it's water. I don't care where you are. If you are even in North States where it's humido, you need to drink. If you're in the desert, you need to drink. So find a way you can carry water. If you want to do canteens, if you want to do camelback, whatever. So first thing, ammo and water would be the first things. Number 2, you need a little bit of a basic emergency kit. I'm not telling you to become here like, a professor in anatomy, or to be a doctor or an ER emergency. No, but at least, there are some videos out there. I don't need to tell you which, or you can find out. Just, they can teach you the basic for trauma. And whatever kit you have, you open the kit and you want to learn everything. So, there are basic things, wounds, cuts, laceration, how to stop a bleeding. Get some information, seriously. You don't need to go to school. If you can, get some classes at the Red Cross, it would be great. That's an important skill. We're not going to have doctors with us. We are not the Army, okay? We are on our own. So we got to do what we can. So we got the ammo, you got your gear, and you got, of course, water. You got the first aid kit. Now, little spare parts. If you have an SKS, if you have an AK, probably you don't need anything. If you have an AR, guess what? Sometimes things break. Okay, so have a little, at least a basic, like a firing pin or a extractor, something basic, just a little bit. And then, of course, don't forget your cleaning kit to clean your weapon. Then you need a basic, how you call it? Bayonet? I don't want to call it bayonet. It's just like a knife, utility knife, something can help you out. Now, at that point, your uniform. We do not have uniform. Because we are not here as soldiers. We are citizens. So, but you want to have something comfortable, something that can permit you to operate in your terrain. Let's say you live in a town, in a city, in an asphalt jungle. Guess what? What is the best uniform? Probably regular clothing. Okay, you don't want to wear a desert camo in the middle of New York. That would be stupid, seriously. So, it depends where you are. But whatever you have special clothing that they can feel comfortable. They can give you the protection you need and also the space that you need to carry extra things. Okay? And also a pair, very important, pair of boots. After all, you're on your feet. We are talking about a part of transportation. Remember, shoot, move, and communicate. The shooting part, I told you, it's simple. You get your rifle, you get your gun, you get your ammo, you gotta get your training. The moving part, we don't have tanks, we don't have armored vehicles. We're gonna be probably mostly on your vehicle. Hopefully you still have it. Hopefully it's not being confiscated. Hopefully there is no EMP. But if you have a vehicle, but don't underestimate, for example, a bicycle. Maybe we're gonna run out of gas. Don't underestimate maybe a horse. Don't underestimate your feet, your boots. So whatever you have some good boots that you already broke down. Don't get new boots and put them on the side. Use them, clean them, keep them nice and clean inside. Get good socks, test them out. Now, as I said, I'm not going to ask you to become a G.I. Joe or G.I. Jane and become a special force guy and running, the 2 miles in crazy times. No. Telling you that, though, you got to at least try to improve yourself and you try to learn your limits. Because if you're just a person that dream to be, this general on the couch generals. You got all your rifle there in front of the couch with the Doritos and, your beer and your bellies keep growing. And then you look at that rifle, you dream that one day you're going to become transformed like Rambo. Wake up. I'm not going to try to be mean, but wake up. Stop it. This is serious. Try to commit yourself. Try at least to do the basic. Reduce the garbage. The first thing we need to do is education. We are what we eat. If you keep eating garbage, GMO food and sugar and corn syrup and all this crap, stop drinking sodas. Drink good water. Eat good food. Start to be healthy. Start to be at least not overweight and start to walk. I'm not asking you to do anything. Walk. Can you walk at least for 5 miles with your backpack, with your rifle, with your load of ammo, and without dying of a heart attack? That would be a great goal, right there. So, first of all, try to improve yourself. Now, many of us say, what, I'm old, I'm 67, I'm 70, I'm 80, I don't know. But, doesn't matter. You do what you can. Maybe some of you guys cannot walk. Maybe some of you are going to be on the wheelchair. Maybe some of you are going to stay behind that rock. Maybe it's going to stay behind their window. We do what we can. In Switzerland, before I came to America, I spent some time in Switzerland. At least I drove through and met some people, I have some friends. And, not perfect, but I tell you, one thing they got it down right. Every citizen is prepared, regardless the age. I'm not just talking about the fighting age, the young people between 18 and 45 or whatever, the active duty. I'm talking about even older people, even younger people. They got something to do. The older people, they do something. They are prepared to do something. Some they do communication. Some they do, for example, nursing. Some they do intelligence. So much every one of us can do. Even little kids, you can train them. Start to train them how to load up magazine, unload magazine, clean the rifle, shoot, even shoot the rifle, everything. There's so much every one of us can do. So anyway, that's the bottom line. You do what you can and you improve yourself. So, we talk about the uniform. We don't have a uniform, but we have something comfortable that is try to make us blend with the terrain. Now, let's say you're yourself with your wife and maybe a couple of kids. Great. You don't need to advertise that. Maybe you have, though, another family that you've been knowing for many years that you can share the same ideas, that you see they want to do the same thing. So, guess what? You can start to train together. You can start to buy ammo together. You can maybe start to buy bulk food together. That's the beautiful thing. But do not become too big. Smaller sometimes is better. And you don't have like a central figure, like an headquarter. Because you are the head of your family. And that's enough. That's why it's going to be more powerful when we have a very not organized militia without a central command, with individuals that we have in common the principles of freedom, of the Declaration of Independence. And we can call each other brothers and sisters regardless our religion, regardless our, nationality, regardless our, accents, whatever. But we believe in freedom and we are ready to defend it. Now, what could happen? Guess what? Just look at the bandits. That's the perfect example. A family under attack. Tomorrow maybe your neighbor has a well. Yes, well. Part of Arizona, we still have wells here in Arizona. But they've been trying the last few years. They want to put a meter on the well because slaves, after all, they must pay for the water. Even comes from the dirt, from the ground. And of course, after they put the meter, they're going to tax you by the gallon. But meanwhile, of course, Nestle, this multi-corporation, can get the water from the mountain of California, Arrowhead, without even paying a fee, nothing. Billions of gallons. Or they can take it from the Michigan Lake for free. But you slave, you must have the meter. They must charge you and fine you if you take a shower more than one time in a week. Seriously, that's what's happening in California. So they're going to come to different situations. So the point is, you're not going to stay in your home. Or if you stay in your home, because probably that's where you live, you're not going to be able to win when you're surrounded. Okay? They know how to get you. You're going to be surrounded. The moment that you move, you're going to be destroyed. Look what happened at, Ruby Ridge. So the point is, you want to diffuse violence. How do you diffuse violence? With force. Showing that you're weak is not going to work. First of all, you want to have media. You want to have attention, the public opinion. We are still in the information war. We want to win heart and mind, like we did at the Bundys. Show how evil these people were. Show also the hidden plan. They were trying to sell this part of Nevada to this Chinese corporation that the son of Harry Reid was the main PR guy. Seriously. So when people start to find out the truth, they start to run. Then more important, they ran when they saw that few hundred of us, we didn't go away. We stood the ground. Yes, we had cameras. Yes, we were peaceful. But guess what? Many of us had rifles. They were pointing rifles at us. I'm glad they didn't shoot at us. I'm really glad. Because you know what? This is not China. This is not Italy. This is not other countries. People have the right to defend themselves and to keep and bear arms. That's the bottom line. They knew it. And if people don't believe it, guess what? Maybe they don't teach this stuff at school, but even an former immigrant like myself was able to study it. The Battle of Athens, Tennessee, 1946. The Battle of Athens, Tennessee was really the last time where the American people used the Second Amendment to defend from freedom and the due process of clean elections from corruption and a corrupted government. Yes. Go check it out. Okay? Then you'll thank me. So, here we go. We start to form it, you see. We got the moral ground. We have knowledge. We have love. We have a family. We have a father. We have a mother. You keep a low control key. You don't need to advertise. You're not part of any type of membership. Of course, you may agree, with many organizations. I support all these organizations. Boatkeepers, fine, great. Other organizations, they want to do it, great. But at the end of the day, we don't need to be part of anything unless you want to. Now, you need this concept that beside shooting, you need to start to think about moving. A good truck, 4-wheel drive, would be very good. Don't get something too new with all this electronics. Get something older. If you can get something also diesel. Diesel is a little easier to adjust, It's not that sensitive. You can always squeeze some oil somewhere. So, then communication. Communication, guess what? We are now in a very high-tech world. They can spy on you. You have that cell phone with you. Even when the cell phone is off, they can listen to you. They listen to this conversation even before I broadcast it. Seriously. Guess what? You go low-tech. They go high-tech. We go low-tech. Walkie-talkie, it's a great tool. You don't need a powerful. You need just something to operate around your house or your ranch or your family. And of course, it would be nice to have something that you can operate maybe in the radius of your neighborhood where other like-minded families, they are in the same area with the same mindset, with the same training. So what happens? Everything starts with the individual. You start to train yourself and you train your immediate families. And as I said, more is better. Maybe you're a veteran. Maybe you can share the training. Or maybe you can reach a veteran. Or maybe you can go to a school or a training facilities. There are so many opportunities. I mean, look, Shots Ranch. We had Shots Ranch like a couple of weeks ago. I was promoting it. They're a great class for free. I brought you Cop Reynolds. I brought you Front Sight. I brought you Gun Sight. I brought you everybody. I don't care. I'm not even charging them. I want to really genuinely promote them so you have an opportunity to choose what fits your budget and what fits your expectations. Okay? That's all I care. I'm also giving it for free. I want to share whatever I know. We can go together at the range or even better in the desert. I told you the new idea, the Mojave County Rifleman Fellowship. What we do, we train each other. We help from each other. Okay? So, we need those some opportunity to move. So a truck would be very important. A truck with, of course, also go low tech. Buy some bicycles. Bicycles, they don't need any gas, and you can go some mountain bikes. You can able at least to avoid to run. And then don't forget the boots, as I said before, to be able to walk. Now, other basic information was, communication was walkie-talkie, very important. But still, they can be jammed, don't forget. Whistle. The whistle is very simple, low-tech tool. The whistle is important when you need to, let's say, you can communicate, you can create a language with a whistle. One whistle means something, two whistle means something else. Okay? Very important. Don't forget about your ear set. Whatever you have, even just the regular earplugs, but have a bunch. Whenever you want to shoot a rifle without earplugs, seriously, especially in a closed environment. If you can afford it, the family can afford it, invest in some electronics earplugs. Much better. Now, of course, then there is much more you can do. Everybody has different budgets. I would say in some states it's still legal to have basic Class 3A bulletproof jackets. There are also the light ones, the one normally police uses. They're great, like $100. They can stop a 44 Magnum. Of course, they're not going to stop a rifle, but guess what? Better than nothing. So you adjust yourself, but whatever you have, you want to feel comfortable. You don't want to have an overbuilt system, gear, that is going to be then impossible to work and function and do. So that's the bottom line. So you got to start to incorporate during your life a commitment to start to create at least once a week some part of between medical training or let's say also food preparation, what you're going to eat. What if you have to leave your home? You think, you say, when sometimes I laugh, when I hear these people say, when they come to my door is the moment. No, that's really a bad moment. You already lost. I mean, of course, you're not going to surrender, but you don't want them to come to your door. That's the last thing you want. You want to anticipate it. First of all, hopefully they don't know where you're living. Hopefully you're going to have moved since the times going to be happening things. You're not going to stay in the same place that they have your GPS already. You remember in 2010 when it was the census, people used to laugh. Why did you think they GPS every home? Why? Why they spend billions of dollars to do that? Now, every household in America is being GPS. Never happened before that. After all, if somebody wants to come and see you, your sheriff, your police area, whatever, they know the street. They know where to find it. It's very simple. GPS is a military tool, don't forget. Military tool that they allows to anybody, even if they're not familiar with the roads in the area, just to put a little point. Let's say they want to find GPS of Gianluca Zanna. Boom. Maybe they don't even need to come. Maybe they can just send a drone. Seriously. On autopilot. Think about it. How diabolical is this? So, if things start to move, start to change, you better have logistically another place. Your household, if you're a person already out there that has been unfortunately or fortunately not doing your duty, speaking up, we don't need to be afraid. We need to speak up. You should write that to the editors, go to your congressman. But, there's also the other side, as I said, you're going to expose yourself. So whatever. For me, it's too late, and that's fine. But if you have a chance, when you see things going to start to move, you're going to stay out of your place. So another very important thing is prepositioning assets. You don't want to have all your guns and your ammo and your food in one place. So once you lose that place, it's gone. You're going to start to have hopefully some safe house or some safe place, maybe some friends that normally, family member that they don't, stay under the radar. You start to reallocate assets. That's the bottom line. Now, the idea to train together, it is not like, you shoot at the range. Sometimes I see, people for fun, hobby, great. You sit down, you got your bench and you take it easy. No. Training for the purpose of self-defense or even just defense of freedom, completely different thing. But you start first of all with the marksmanship, the basic. You must be able to hit the target on demand. But first of all, try to find a way that you don't need to use benches. We're going to work only with sling, sitting, standing, kneeling, or prone. Simple as that. Now, you start to shoot also in a way that you need to find somebody who can train you to shoot in in couple, in teams, respecting safety, be able to move and shoot at the same time. You know, the essence of every cell, of every group, start always with a duo, with a team. One shoot and one advance, one cover and one advance. Now, people say, you Luca, what are you? Are you a military guy? No, I'm not military. I'm not even a Rambo guy. I'm a regular guy. But you know what? I took very seriously. Yeah, I did the military academy when I was in Italy, but that's not even nothing. I took very seriously when I came to America to commit myself to study. When I learned what dangers we are facing, to train, to commit time and money, to train every way I can, to share what I know. And I'm sure there are people out there that know much more than I do. Trust me. But whatever little I know, I want to share with you. I remember during the Revolutionary War, some of our generals, they were, tradesmen. They were regular people. But they were studying. They were studying books. They were pretty good, by the way. They were great. I forgot the name. It was one general during the militia time that he was never been in the army. We didn't have a standing army. But guess what? This guy studied more strategy from Roman history, from Greek history, from the English Empire. I mean, he was a winner in that area. So the point is, I do my best. So, and I'm just logic. These are just common sense things. So start to prepare. Don't forget about, so you need to be able to move in an area that you must know. So mapping is very important. Get your maps of your area where you live now. Get them. Know how to use a compass. Forget about the GPS. Satellite can go down. Go back to the basic. Okay? Know how to use a compass. Okay? Then, another very important tool. You need to know what's going on in the dark. That's normally when things happen. So start to find out a way you can buy. There are different options. Even just, there are sometimes very cheap, affordable, now for $100, monocular night scope. Or just night scope. Or night monocular. For a couple $100. Yes, a generation one. But guess what? At least allows you to see in complete dark from 0 to 70 yards, 60 yards, even just the area of your potential fence. You can see what's going on. Then, of course, if you got more money, you can spend generation 2, complete another world. But the point is, even just with $100, you can get a night scope, a night vision, monocular, that allows you to see at least in pitch dark between 50 and 70 years. Then if you can get one for your rifle, and they're like very great options, especially Russian ones, for like $450, $500. I have a couple, and they're great. They use just regular batteries, okay? Not even the special strange batteries. So that's the point, guys. Just the point. This is just scratching the surface. But I wanted you today, because I don't know what's going to happen the next week. I don't know any day here at this point. We got to be prepared. And I want just to tell you, don't procrastinate. Because one day we may regret it. We need everybody in this struggle. We need everybody. I want to leave you now with this song that probably you already heard a few times. I played here on the air. The Line in the Sand. Music and lyrics by myself, Luca Zanna. And I want to remind you, if you want to support the show, this is kind of not exactly the typical commercial format. I tell you things that normally no other commercial radio station will allow me to. That's why also I'm on the internet. You can help me out. You can go to Zanna, ZANNA.us. Zanna.us. You can download any of my songs for just 99 cents. Simple as that. Doing so, not only you get your music, hopefully you like, but also you support this station. I mean, not the station, you support my show. This is an independent show, okay? I don't work for the station, okay? Now, I'm on KTOX 1340. I'm having other stations that they are contacting me. We are dealing to try to, but my show, I give it to them to be broadcast. I don't get paid. I'm just here with my message. You can help me out. Go to Zanna.us. Now you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom, of course, ready for our number 3, and a little bit of music, The Line in the Sand.
If ye love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude than the animated contest of freedom, go from us in peace. We ask not your counsels or arms. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you. May your chains sit lightly upon you, and may posterity forget that you were our countrymen. The line in the sand, you know the time is coming. The line in the sand, Are you going to watch while we're fighting? The line in the sand. Just tell me now where you're going to stand. How much more you're gonna take it? How much more you're gonna fake it? Now you decide what you'll do when they come. They'll come for you. Seconds before midnight.
You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with Luca Zanna on United States.fm network.
Guys, you're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with Luca Zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.fm network. If you hear the dog, my dog is trying to break the door because he's freaking out. There is a thunderstorm outside and he doesn't like it, but that's another story. Now, during the show, I like to talk about everything. Anything goes. Okay, there are no censorship. And also I like to talk with people from other parts of the world. You know, this show started like a show from, let's say, Needles, California, of course, serving the tri-state area, Mojave County, Arizona, and Laughlin, Nevada, and of course, California, that part of California. But then, thanks to the internet, I'm receiving emails and contacts from around the world. You know, I'm so excited. I like that. Because as I said, the reality that we are facing a problem. This is not just an American problem. This tyranny that we are facing, it's an American problem, but also it's a world problem. Seriously. We are all under attack. But more important, what I like to engage people on the show. You know, people that we have maybe many things in common. Sometimes we have things that we don't understand each other. And that's why I think it's important to have a dialogue and even, you know, just to ask questions. And as I said, on the show, I have any type of censorship. You can ask me anything. Only thing, don't ask me about my sexual preferences. No, you can ask me also that. I have no problem. And, of course, other personal things for family. Now, this dog is creating a drama. But now... Guys, I have a friend from Italy, from Rome right now. I met him a long time ago when I was in my 20s. We met in Canarias Islands and we spent time in Rome. And so many years later, I found him again on Facebook. His name is Claudio. Claudio from Rome. Claudio, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi, everybody. And first of all, sorry for my English. I never use it. And so I just use English for speaking with Luca on Skype, on Facebook, because I follow him as a very, very enthusiastic guy about anything that matters these years, everywhere in the world. I saw many posts from Luca on Facebook, and I follow also all his sites about war, weapons, and immigrants, etc. So I'm very curious to have his point of view about anything.
Perfect. That's why we're here, Claudia. You know, I'm so glad, you know, one thing about Facebook, you know, as much as I know is a controlled system to control everything we do, but regardless, we can use it for a good purpose, you know, reconnect with friends and also try to help each other to learn about things. So I'm here. Any questions you want about anything normally I talk, I'm here to answer to you.
Yeah, I suppose I'm curious about anything that you post on Facebook. Is very interesting. Maybe when we talk about weapons and the possibility to own a gun or a rifle in Italy, everybody say no, it's very dangerous, it's illegal. You have to pass a medical examination before taking anything. And I see that in Arizona everything is free. So I wonder how it's possible that in the world we have a so different point of view about this.
Yes. So the point is this one, Claudio. First of all, you need to look at the Constitution as the Bill of Rights. Okay. In Italy and in Europe in general, there is not a Bill of Rights, especially when it comes down to the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment was part of the original Bill of Rights of the Federal Constitution that says that the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's the point. The point was this right, it wasn't created to go to, for example, to hunt or to defend yourself against criminals. This was a right because our founding fathers of the Republic had very much a vision that to defend free people, to defend a republic from tyrants, from a government that would come up one day, could become oppressive. You need to have the rest of the population be able to be armed. That's why they created the Second Amendment. Specifically, in the state of Arizona, like every state, we have different constitutions. And the state of Arizona is probably one of the best states for gun rights. Now, I understand what people from outside may think. Oh my God, you have a rifle and you may be a danger. But guess what? This is something that, like tomorrow, you can say you have a car or you have a hammer, you can commit a crime. I can have a hammer and can destroy a house, or I can have a hammer and build a house. Same story with a gun. I can have a gun to save a life, or I can have a gun to commit a murder. The point is, evil exists, Claudio, no matter we want it or not. I wish we could live in a world like everybody was peaceful, a kumbaya, and we all get along. But we know that it's a fact. Criminals will be there, no matter we are or not. So what really does a legislation that controls the gun rights of a law-abiding citizen, all it does is disarms the law-abiding citizen. In the same time, the criminal will always find a way to buy a weapon. For example, Claudio, are you aware, that most of the homicides, of these murders, of mass murdering situation at these schools or universities, they were all areas that they were called gun-free zone. Sei a conoscenza di questo fatto, Claudio?
Yeah, I know, but the point is maybe a little bit bigger than this. Otherwise, it's a jungle. And in your words, I read something like a jungle law. Everybody can kill everybody because we have no control and everybody is scared about, everything.
No, Claudio, let me stop you 1 second. We have very strict laws. You cannot kill everybody. For example, in the state of Arizona, and I'm talking just for this, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge, but I can tell you because I studied the gun laws, you cannot absolutely kill anybody. The only way you can use deadly force, in this case it's called deadly force, is to defend a life, your life or innocent life. Okay? Let's say, for example, Claudio, somebody spit on your face, or somebody call your names. You cannot go out and start to shoot at people. That would be criminal. You would go to jail. We already have very strict laws, and I can talk about every other state, but I tell you, most of the states, almost all the states, you must justify deadly force only as the last resort. That's the bottom line. You must be fearing for your life. And this is the state of Arizona. You cannot shoot somebody unless you really have no other choice. Facing somebody's trying to harm you in a deadly way, or the imminent, danger would be, a deadly danger would be for an innocent. That's the bottom line. So that's very important, because I sometimes have a lot of friends in Italy. They think just because we can have weapons, we can start to shoot everything who moves out there. That's far from truth.
No, I didn't mean like this. Of course, you cannot. But I think...
Claudio, I'll give you an example, please. You are in your home, like right now, in Italy it's dark. I know that it's night. and there is a person completely crazy with a machete or with a gun or with a knife, doesn't matter, and he's breaking down the door, okay? He's smashing the door. He has a knife. Or even it's not a knife, it's 300 pounds, and the guy can kill you with his bare hands, okay? And if it's not you, let's say it's your family member, maybe your grandmother, your mother, anybody, your sister, your daughter, okay? You know that police doesn't sleep with you. Police takes at least always a few extra minutes after things are done. You think you have the right to defend your life in that situation, or you say, okay, whatever, I'm going to die. What is your option? What do you think? What would you do as a human being?
Yeah, of course. If I had a gun, I'd use it.
Okay, that's simple as that. I mean, we're not talking about having a gun to say, okay, now I can misuse it. I'm talking about to defend your life. I think you as a human being, like every human being around the world, have the right to defend their life if somebody's trying to kill you. That's the bottom line. That comes down to that. The problem is, Claudio, that many governments, unfortunately, look at, for example, the politicians in Italy, okay? All politicians have at least more than 2 or 3 or 4 armed guards paid by your tax dollar. You know that. All the politicians, they have the escorts. They have the armed guard. But they say that you, regular person, you don't deserve to be armed because, after all you can do is pray that the cops come fast enough. I mean, you know that all the politicians, they have, how many, Renzi, for example, how many bodyguards does he have? 20? I mean, all these senators that they've been retired, they still have bodyguards for life. Is that true or not?
Yeah, it's true. But anyway, in Italy also, as you know, you can have a gun. You just need to register the gun, and you have to pass some medical examination for, psychological exam on, for your brain stability before I give you a gun in your hand. So it's not completely forbidden in Italy. If you have a big business, if you carry money in your bag for works, if you have a big shop or
okay. Perfect.
So it's illegal to carry a weapon in Italy, but it's not so free as Arizona.
Exactly the point. I'm glad you brought it up. I'm glad this is so important. In Italy, it is not a right. It's a privilege. Privilege and rights are two different things, as you well know. Right is something you are born, okay? Like the right of free speech. You should not ask to the government, may I speak? May I publish a book? It's your right. Same story to self-defense. It's a right, or at least supposed to be a right. Instead, when you have to go to a government and ask for a permit, becomes that now the government is granting you a privilege. That's the reality. Now, you say something very important. If you can justify that you have a big business, if you can justify that you carry money or whatever, or maybe if you got just a special connection with the local police, that's the reality. Because I remember my father used to have a gun in Italy, okay? And it's very difficult, very difficult. I think it's the right of every human being. I don't care if you are, just at your home as a pensionee, as a pensionato, as a retired person, and you have not a lot of money, and maybe you don't have that big business. You still have the human right of self-defense, Claudio. That's for me the most important thing, because at the end of the day, otherwise we become classist. Okay, only few people, like at the time of the kings, only the men of the kings can have swords. The rest of the slaves, no way. You got a stick, just a little wooden stick.
I see your point, but I not agree when you're talking about a privilege. I think it's a right, or here in Italy also, to have a gun, but you have to. It's not free, Not everybody can.
We already have laws, Even here, believe it or not, if you are found by a jury incompetent, or if you do, for example, domestic violence, okay, let's say you hit your wife or you hit your husband, you're in domestic violence, right now you cannot have a gun. So there are laws for that too. My only point is this one, though, that we need to realize that when the government...
That's very interesting, because I don't know the laws. I just suppose that...
No, that's why I'm glad you called. That's why it's so important. That's why, don't get me wrong, I'm not here a lawyer or give you legal advice, but for what I know, according to my knowledge, I'm telling you we try to share this information. Like, for example, in Italy, it's true, it's a privilege. You can have eventually a gun, but it's very hard. Like in New York, still America supposed to be, but it's not a right, unfortunately.
About Arizona, you can go to a gun shop and buy everything you want?
Well, it works in this way. First of all, if I go to a gun shop, I can buy anything I want, but I still need to go through a background check. Background check means that they will run my name with the FBI, okay? And they must, if they find that I have any type of criminal record, I can be denied. Simple as that. So that's, people must know that if I go through a gun shop, my name is going to be run through. They cannot collect my data.
Is that the same everywhere? Because, we see on movies from America that a guy will go to a gun shop and just buy the driving license, or even without it,
okay,
you can buy everything.
Gun shop, they have federal license. Gun shop, they must have a federal license. They must they must comply. Thank you, grazie. They must comply with the federal laws. They must run a background check on everybody. That's a fact. Unless you have, for example, like I do, the Arizona concealed permit, okay? I don't need it. In Arizona, we don't need it anymore. We can carry a gun concealed without permit, but I took it for several benefits. Let's say, for example, I go across the state to Nevada. Right now, they have a reciprocity with the Arizona concealed permit. But in that case, if I show that I have my concealed permit, the store may not run my background check because I've already been cleared by the state as my background check. So that's the first thing. Whatever you watch in movies, on TV, 90% of the times, or is inaccurate or there's a lie. That's a fact. They love to make a drama out of nothing. That's a fact.
What about traveling in America? Can you carry your AK-47 everywhere in your car? Or
No. There are very strict rules. For example, in Arizona, let's say if you come from Italy, okay, and you are not an Arizonan, you cannot buy a gun in Arizona. You must be a resident, okay? That's number one thing. You cannot buy a gun through a store if you are from another state. Number one. Now, when we say AK-47, okay, there is a lot of misconception out there. People think, okay, the AK-47, they assault weapon. No. What you can buy legally in America, if you don't want to go through the special federal permit for full automatic weapons, it's a rifle that we call AK-47 or AK-74. Technically, it's an AKM, and it's a style pattern. That means it looks exactly like an AK-47. You got the same magazine, the same shape, the same type of, parts, but it does not shoot full automatic. All it shoots semi-automatic. That means every time you squeeze that trigger, you get one round only. The real original AK-47 that the media tried to paint, that look all the same, is a full automatic weapon that if you want to have it, you must apply for a special federal license. It's a Class 3, okay? And it's going to cost you $200 just for the license. And you must go through the ATF, the federal agency that controls this type of license. And this has been going on since 1934. So that's first thing. When you buy an AK-47, what you get is a rifle. Yes, it looks the same. It shoots the same cartridge, but it is semi-automatic. If you want the real full automatic weapon, you must go through a federal license that not every state, by the way, allows it. In Arizona, yes, we can apply for the license. But in California, you couldn't. So every state is different. But that's the bottom line. If you want a full auto weapons, you must have a license, even if you live in Arizona.
For full automatic, you mean mitragliatrice?
Yes, exactly, like a machine gun. You squeeze the trigger once, and you have at least 3 bullets coming out. Okay?
It's like yours.
No, what I have, my weapons, for example, by choice. I could, if I wanted to, I could apply, because I live in Arizona, and it's pretty simple for me, technically. But I could go through the ATF and ask for this federal license, and also have a machine gun. But I don't want it for 2 reasons. First of all, I don't want to comply, to have a permit, and to put in mix myself in my life with a federal agency. Once I signed up their contract with a federal agency, they think they can come to also see me and visit me and see where my machine gun is. I don't want him in my life, number one. Number two, I don't like the idea, of course, the idea of permit. because what is this, a right, okay? So I like to have a gun that I don't need to ask a permit from the government. The good thing in Arizona, I don't need any permit when I have weapons that they are not compliant with the, with the Class 3A.
Just a question. Why, in your opinion, they required a special license for a gun machine and anything else is allowed?
Okay, at the time when the law started was in 1934, okay? The time of Al Capone. Al Capone, the mafia, the bosses. And there was after the big San Valentine massacre, okay? Was an excuse. This was the first gun control law that the federal government created, at least one of the first ones. The idea was that, okay, this weapon is too dangerous in the hands of civilians because some of them, like in this case the mafia, they were using to kill each other. And then they say, okay, we have an excuse that is reasonable. They always try to start something with reasonable, okay? We create this gun legislation that now, if you want to have a full automatic weapon, like at the time was the Thompson, chamber in 45 ACP, you must have a special federal license. And by the way, at the time, the stamp, to apply for this license was $200 like now. But $200 in 1934, that was a lot of money. Now it's kind of affordable, okay? But the point, that's how they created this type of situation. Like they did with 9/11, the same type of fear. They created a crisis. Oh, the Arabs, they're taking us down. 9/11, now we must all give some of our security, all our rights to be more secure. And they passed the Patriot Act. Same story, Claudio. 1934, there was an excuse used by the government to create the first type of gun control. That's the bottom line. Let me tell you something, Claudio. If a criminal, like, in Italy, like there is the mafia, and there is, of course, the Yugoslavian mafia, the Italian mafia, you think they go to buy a machine gun from the stores? They buy the machine guns directly from the black market. So that's law.
Of course. But it's I'm curious why any time there is a rule, some license to get, or some examination to do, for you it's a state control or something like that, or it's a privilege. Don't you think sometimes is correct that you have the responsibility for the society as a government or something like that, and so it's your duty to defend the society against the crazy people, or, for example, sorry for my English again.
Oh, you're doing great. Go ahead.
Before you said that if you need some special gun, you have to if I understand well, anytime you want to buy a gun, they check your background story, your criminal reports, and something like that. Isn't, in your opinion, this is also a form of control or not?
Yes, it is also a form of control. I'll tell you why. As much as I understand that people say, okay, you need to see that you are not a criminal, that's fine. And there are already laws right there. Of course, in the state of Arizona, we still have the right to buy a gun privately without gun control. The point.
Do you agree with this checking or not?
Yeah, let me tell you, if I buy a gun to a shop, I know that I'm going to expect a sort of background check. And of course, I have no problem. I am a law-abiding person. But if I want to go to buy a gun from a private, and it's legal in Arizona, if we have bought side from Arizona, I can buy privately. I don't need a background check. The point is this one, Claudio. Every time we go through a background check, that means the government, first of all, is going to have a tracking of us. They can know how many guns we are buying. Supposedly, they're supposed to erase these names and the numbers, but the fact we prove that they keep it. So every government can track how many weapons we have. They also have a way to track it, If they want to confiscate guns, they can know where to start. And also another important thing, it's an illusion. You think you can somehow create security, but you don't. Because at the end of the day, every criminal, look at, for example, now in England, they stop completely the possession, the ownership of all guns to civilians, but the crime rates, it's skyrocketing. And if they cannot kill you with a gun now, they are most murdering with knives. So are you going to do a background check also on knives? That's my point. And also another thing, think about, you say something very important, Should we not maybe comply to permits to think that we have an obligation towards society? There is a point, Claudio. We have things that we call rights. that is the individual right. Like your freedom of speech, it is not subjected to the collective. You know very well, for example, in Italy, Claudio, I used to have a music magazine. You remember Contatto Discografico?
Yeah.
Okay. It's something that I didn't know at the time, because I didn't know about freedom of speech. In Italy, if I want to have a magazine, newspaper, even a blog on the internet now with the new legislation, I must be registered to the Tribunale, to the courthouse, and to have a special permit issued by the judge. And I must have a special director of the newspaper with a special permit, a little card. That shows exactly what we were talking about. Freedom of speech is supposed to be a right. The moment that the government is going to give me a permit to operate that right, is not a right anymore, becomes a privilege. Same story with the Second Amendment. So that's my point. I have a big problem with any time the government start to tell me how, what type of rights do I have, especially when I do not infringe on somebody else's right. And more important, Claudio.
The point also is that the privilege is on the other side as well. I mean, if you write something very offensive, very bad about someone else, for example, about me,
yes,
I want to know who are you.
Yes, and I tell you very simple. Normally, number one, that's why exactly it's called freedom of speech that doesn't exist in Europe. In Italy, if I say something, I don't know, il Presidente della Repubblica Italiana, the Italian president is I can say very bad words in English for the radio, but he's a jerk, okay? He's an idiot. The former Italian president, Giorgio Napolitano, is a big piece of garbage, okay? Un pezzo di mondezza, okay? Just because I said that, and it's offensive, and it doesn't mean that people really must believe it, or doesn't mean that he is. It is my opinion. Presidente Napolitano, give me the new one. Who is the new president now? Give the new name of the new president, Claudio. Who is it?
Mattarella.
Panella?
Mattarella.
Mattarella, sei una mozzarella. You are a mozzarella, okay? You are terrible. I don't know not much about you, but if you're there, I believe that you are being put like a puppet. It's my opinion. In America, I have a freedom of speech. In Italy, I would be already at least sued. Okay, mi farebbero causa almeno, civil suit.
Yeah, Luca, stop for a minute. We were talking about the privilege and
but my point is this one, Claudio. The First Amendment was made exactly to be able to say even offensive things. Now, if somebody says something false, let's say I say Claudio, he is, let's say, I don't know, a criminal, okay, and it's false. You're not a criminal, okay, and that you have still the right to sue him civilly to get justice. That means I'm not a criminal. You cannot, say bad things about me, especially when you can ruin my reputation. You have okay.
You know who you are. So if you have a magazine or a blog or something, and you are not registered everywhere,
Claudio, you can
how can I know who is the director? If you put a false name on your blog,
you know what?
I can reach you, so I cannot defend myself against a ghost.
I understand what you're saying, but let me tell you something. If somebody wants to put out, let's say, a magazine, or first of all, they wouldn't put out a magazine. It would be, let's say I used to have a magazine, okay? So even if I didn't have the official license from the Italian government, they still know through records, through printers, through who pays the check, who is behind, who is the owner. That's a fact. The point is, you can still put your name out. The point is, doesn't mean that I have to ask for a permit to the government to, let's say, to ask for a permit just to operate. For example, right now, this radio station, okay? This radio station has a license for the FCC, but I'm here on the station. I don't have a license to, as a journalist, to be talking. I'm using my First Amendment. And regardless, I am here. My name is Gianluca Zanna. That's the bottom line. People can still find you if they want to. The idea that when you give the type of power to the government to say, okay, you can operate or not. Remember, Claudio, the license for the newspapers and the freedom and for the press was under the king, the time of the Italian kings, and of course under Mussolini, because they wanted to be sure, using that tool, that the opposition, everybody who wasn't along with the king or with Mussolini and the fascists, they would not have the right, privilege, / to have a newspaper. That's why it was created. So sometimes...
I suppose Italy is the only country in Europe and in the world, maybe, to have
No.
This is a very strange regulation.
No. There is, unfortunately, freedom of speech does not exist in most of Europe. I think all of Europe. Seriously. Same story in France.
I mean, if I want to have a magazine, first of all, in Italy, I have to take the journalist card.
Well, the journalist card probably, but I tell you what I think. Let's say you go to France, okay? And you want to write a letter to the editor, just a regular person, okay, like Brigitte Bardot did not that long ago. And she said in a letter, she was denouncing the problem that, according to her opinion, you may believe it or not, it's still her opinion, the big flux of Muslim population coming to France, they are destroying the integrity of and the cultural background of France. Guess what? Can be her opinion, we don't need to agree. But guess what? From there, the French government there was a civil lawsuit, and bottom line, she had to pay a big fine, and if she didn't pay, she had to go to jail. The fact is, because there is no freedom of speech. Same story. A pastor, in Norway, a few years ago, said that in one of his sermons, according to his opinion and his book of the Bible, we may believe it or not, that's not the point, that the gay people go to hell. Okay. Guess what? There was a hate crime. So that's
I think it's a very delicate point about this. Obviously, I agree when talking about freedom of speech, of course, but it's a very, very delicate. Because, for example, we have now in Italy a politician is called Matteo Salvini, is from the Lega Nord. It's a very, the racism against every nigger or something like that. So it's racism 100%. So if I give full freedom of speech to people like Salvini, it's very, very dangerous because he's a politician. Why? He's always on TV. He has a very, very big popularity and public space where he can speak to other people. So it's
excuse me, Claudio.
If a man like this start the journey talking, cazzate, bullshit.
Okay, Claudio.
It's very dangerous because nobody can stop. Okay, he can say, I have my freedom of speech, I can say what I want. It's not completely true because you must, I don't know in English, how can I say, devi rispondere di quello che dici.
You must be responsible for your own action, I understand. But let me tell you this, Claudio. First of all, let's put it in this way. Somebody may abuse the freedom of speech, fine. But the point is, look at the other side, the side effect. Everybody's a slave. Let's say because a politician can say a bad word against somebody, that's fine. But at the same time, you can say the same things too. Like, for example, now, just because somebody may be, let's say you drive a car, okay? You drive in a car, or even worse, alcohol, okay? By the way, some people, they use alcohol and they become drunk. They're very dangerous. They can be violent. Should we now all be penalized? Should we all not be able to drink a beer or wine because other people out there may abuse it? No. If somebody is responsible for something bad, let's just that person be punished. I don't believe in collective punishment. Why should, let's say, you got 3 or 4 brothers and sisters all together. One of the brothers commit like a stupid thing, and mom says, now nobody plays tonight because Marco did a bad thing. But what is this BS? I mean, if Marco did a bad thing, let him be punished. I want to be okay. That's the bottom line. Same story with freedom of speech. Let's say somebody says something that could be criminally or civilly problematic. Let's say, for example, I bring a false witnessing, or I say things that they are not true. Like, for example, I say Claudio is a criminal, and this is not true. And he can damage you, of course, also your reputation or your business. You have already a law that you can defend yourself. But we cannot stop everybody else's right to be freedom of speech, to have freedom of speech. And honestly, you know what? I wish there was freedom of speech. So if Salvini can say whatever you think he don't like, you can say a lot of worse things to Salvini, and he cannot do anything. You remember about Giorgio Napolitano, the president, when he was trying to put in jail the different type of vignettisti, the comic guy.
Yeah.
Okay? That's terrible. I mean, that's freedom of speech. A little guy that is a cartoonist and he's trying to make a little of a cartoon, even satirical, about the president, and he needs to face 5 years in jail, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's what exactly the slippery slope. You know, like guns. People say, hey, if there were no guns in the world, criminals would have no guns. Not true. Criminals, they still find guns. And more important, let's say because somebody may commit a crime, all of the rest of us, we must be disarmed, or we must be silent. That's wrong. We must be responsible for our own action. With freedom comes responsibility. And you are not guilty, Claudio, for somebody else's freedom of speech. If somebody else is an idiot and say things that's going to be criminal or civilly persecuted, you will face it. But still, you have the right to use it. That's my humble opinion.
Yeah, I agree, but, you know, it's not always so easy and so simple. Because, you know, every day in Italy you turn the television on and there is a politician that says, that tells such, you know, very terrible liars to the people. Liars, but he's in the rule to be credible. It's an important speaker, so everybody believes. They should do a law for politicians. If they lie, they go to jail. That would be a good law. You know, that's not about freedom of speech. That's about lying while you're in office. Probably all of them or most of them would go to jail. Listen, Claudio, when you come into America, so we can talk in person. Yeah, I hope as soon as possible, but maybe this year. Actually, I will come to visit you. I'm very, very curious about your...
Let me remind you how to make it, okay? It's very simple. Don't go to the embassy, okay? Forget about that. You go straight to Mexico, okay? Try find a town close to the border, okay?
What you mean?
Then you straight there, land there, spend a week, get a little suntan, okay? Abbronzatura, okay? Then buy a nice Mexican sombrero and learn a couple of good words in Spanish, okay? Like Viva Obama, okay? And I voto democratic, okay? That's good. And more important, raise your left fist, communist sign. You go to the borders, I wait for you on the other side, okay? If they catch you, the border patrol, don't worry. Just scream, ACLU, I sue you. That's it. You're going to get a free pass, they give you a free sandwich with bologna sandwich, and they give you also a free Diet Coke, okay?
Perfect, I will.
Hey, you're in. More important, say, I vote Obama, you're in. Don't worry about it, okay?
Okay, great.
Anyway, I've been sarcastic. Just somebody, Homeland Security, is listening to this stuff, okay, guys? It's just a joke. Don't get too excited. I know they tried to get me like that. Anyway, listen, Claudio, I want to thank you for the exchange of ideas. I really enjoy talking with everybody, especially with friends that we lived, you know, the last 20 years into different realities. So maybe we can help each other. You know, you can keep me updated what's going on in Italy, and I can give you an update exactly what is or what's supposed to be America with our Bill of Rights and different things. Okay, I give 10 seconds. Whatever you want to say, Claudio.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, because it's very interesting. Because you know, we in Italy we know America just from broadcasting television and media or movies, and you are the only person I know in America that lives in America and knows everything in the perfect way. So it's very nice, because when I talk to my friends here about America, I can report your words to them.
Perfect. Thank you. Guys, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. Don't go away. We got more news and more stuff going around here. This is going to be a crazy show. Ciao.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we go, guys. Back into the studio. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. That was a call with Claudio, my friend Claudio from Rome. And, this is exactly my point, The purpose of this show is try to communicate with each other, to probably help each other. I'm not saying that I'm right and Claudio is wrong, but, Claudio, he lives in Rome, in Italy, like I was from Rome. And we had no idea. I had no idea myself about what means the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, the difference between a right and a privilege. After all, we've been brainwashed, that to believe that government gave us rights. That means privileges. But that's the point. What I want on this show, I want people that, of course, we agree, but also especially that we do not agree. Sometimes we do not agree because we have very strong convictions about our ideas and ideals, and that's fine. Of course, I always like the point when, we agree to disagree, but not on things that, for example, your opinion is going to steal from mine, okay? So let's say, for example, okay, you like guns, I don't like guns. That's fine. But no, when you say I don't like guns and you're supposed not to have a gun, that's a difference. That's not about an opinion. That means your opinion want to infringe on my rights. Same story with taxation, But the point is that's exactly the purpose. That's why I would like to have on the show everybody. And we wanted to talk about on the show about everything, anything really seriously. And, my attitude is positive. I'm not here trying to be a jerk or things like that. I respect, for example, now, hopefully next week, I'm going to have a real communist. I'm talking about a communist from East Europe who completely believes in Marx, believes in the Communist Manifesto, and thinks that the First Amendment shouldn't be happening because it's just a fraud, and we're supposed to have a complete redistribution of wealth and no private property. I welcome him. I can't wait to have him, this gentleman. And, he's in East Europe, as I said, but we're going to try to have this conversation on the show. Now, that's exactly the point. Same story, with other topics. For example, I had this week, I posted on my Facebook a video that I'm going to play right now about the CNN and the Pentagon during 9/11. This is a very important video. It was never aired after this time. It was the first reporter on the scene when supposedly the alleged airplane hit the Pentagon. And you can listen from this audio because unfortunately you cannot watch the video, but I will post this video on today's show on lovegunsfreedom.com. Check it out. It's very short. You can see there is no plane. You can see that the same reporter, it's a CNN reporter, mainstream reporter, in good honesty said there is no fuselage, there is no airplane, there are no dead bodies. The whole, by the way, the beginning of this hit of this thing was only 15 feet. And then it started to collapse. But there were not the two different, the two huge titanium-made engines. They were not there. And most important, you will see, there were no bodies. So anyway, this is a very important video. After I post this video on Facebook, I got an instant message by a gentleman that is very interesting, by the way. His name is Lee Wilbarger, that used to work with the DoD, the Department of Defense, and he has a past in the Air Force. He's also a very interesting man, I tell you. He's an inventor. He has different patents working for the Army. So it's what I call it's an insider, in my opinion. At least the guy is a retired person, for what I understand, who works for the Department of Defense and the Pentagon. So he said in this instant message out of the blue, and he's not even my friend, okay, on Facebook. So he took the time and the effort to contact me and said, by the way, I was there. I saw the bodies. I saw the plane. I said, wow, prove it to me. I'm not here to say, first of all, I wasn't there, but I tell you, I can see the video, and I can see the evidence that we have, and we can see the fact that the most guarded place in America with most cameras, we don't have any real video. All the videotapes were confiscated, by the way, by the FBI minutes after the hit. Okay. So, but anyway, I talked to him over the phone the same day. And we were okay. We were agreeing. I was so excited to have them on the show, seriously. And I was very polite. I said, I'm going to be fair. Please, I wanted to give you the chance to say your side of the story. Of course, I want corroboration. I want to have proofs. I know I can find them on LinkedIn. I can see his background. I can see this guy has been working for the military at the highest level, also in different programs like Battle Space, Battle Lab. I mean, this is serious stuff, okay? So check him out, okay? So I talked to him, and I told him I'm going to call you tomorrow, and we can arrange this recording. So I'm going to give you 1 full hour. And I'm not afraid here to stand on my ideas, to stand on facts, because this is not even about opinions. We are basing this on facts, okay? So I was going to ask him to bring facts. So he was very confident. I was very excited. Also, I got the help from, spent some time. A friend of mine helped me out to put some real questions here. So, and then after the day that we were supposed to meet over the phone, he disappeared. I wrote him and called him, also left him a message. And it's not there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to play, first of all, this little video that I would like you see. You see that, because at least you have an idea. And then I will discuss a little bit the questions that I had for this gentleman, Mr. Lee Wilbarger. By the way, is a pretty famous person out there, has a YouTube channel, and he talks about this. And, all I can say, let's listen to this CNN video. And then, I can give you the questions and the evidence. And I really hope, and I pray with my heart, that Mr. Wilbarger will come on the show maybe next Sunday, and he can give us his facts. Because this is about not me being right. This is not like Fox News when you see a rally that, I ask you questions, and if he doesn't agree with you, he starts to talk over you and scream over you. I always give you the best respect, the most respect. I let you talk. I talk. We have our own convictions, we have our own ideas, but this is not about censorship. This is about freedom of speech all the way, okay? So let's listen to the CNN, and then we go from there, and I have some real facts to share with you. Because after all, this is about love, and what we love here, we love the truth. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna.
Idea of how much of the plane actually impacted the building.
It might have appeared that way, but from my close-up inspection, there's no evidence of a plane having crashed anywhere near the Pentagon. The only site is the actual site of the building that's crashed in, and as I said, the only pieces left that you can see are small enough that you could pick up in your hand. There are no large tail sections, wing sections, a fuselage, nothing like that anywhere around, which would indicate that the entire plane crashed into the side of the Pentagon and then caused the side to collapse. Now, even though if you look at the pictures of the Pentagon, you see that the floors have all collapsed, that didn't happen immediately. It wasn't until almost about 45 minutes later that the structure was weakened enough that all of the floors collapsed.
Here we go, guys. That was the CNN only aired once, okay? Video of the first few minutes after the Pentagon attack, or whatever object it was. Now, as I said, I really would have loved to challenge, at least to engage in the arena of the ideas, and in case there are not even ideas, or facts with evidence, our potential guest, Mr. Lee Wilbarger. I hope he can come. I hope really he would come one day. And, he said that he had the evidence, he had all the facts down, he was there literally from his instant message. I was at the Pentagon on 9/11. I'm the one who had to job to picking the human remains out of the twisted wreckage. So in short, I know there was a plane and still have nightmares so to this day. So for you to say a plane didn't hit, only tells me that you have no idea what you're talking about. If you think I'm not telling the truth, then you don't know me either. That's fine. I say, great, come on the show. I wish he was here. So anyway, let me put it this way. First of all, I had a question for him. What is your current job position? According to what I found out on the internet, he's retired, but he had a great different parts working for the Department of Defense and the Pentagon. This guy is also an inventor, so now I don't know. Supposedly he's retired and he's working on his solar project, his special bot. You can Google him. Okay, Mr. Lee Wilbarger. Then, what was your job? What you were doing at the time of 9/11? I mean, supposedly he was there, such a big guy, it means it's like an inventor or whatever. He was picking up bodies. interesting. Yeah. What was your job there? I mean, number 3, can you explain to us when you arrived on the scene, how long after the alleged crash, what you were doing there, and exactly what you saw? I'd like to know more details. And now, of course, I would like to see how do you explain the fact that there is no plane wreckage, wings, fuselage, tail, cockpit, consistent with a Boeing passenger airliner. I mean, we're talking about big Boeing. And you just listen to the CNN. This is pretty much black and white, okay? You can see with your own eyes, by the way, when you watch the video. Never happened in the history of wreckage, airplanes going down, that they disappear. The tail, the engine is still there. The structure is there. Anyway, you said that you saw the bodies, okay? If so, how then do you know the bodies are from the Boeing airliner? Exactly. I mean, there were also casualties at the Pentagon. And also, if there is no plane, then wouldn't it be safe to conclude that any bodies at the scene were from somewhere else other than the Boeing passenger? No? Anyway, there are many other questions. I don't want to play unfair, but just I would like to ask him directly, And the point is, guys, there is so much evidence out there. Think about it. We have so many things that without even being professionals, without being geniuses, let's start to use our own brain, think about it. A Boeing 757 could have never executed the attack maneuver that we see. They are completely impossible. You can see there are different websites. By the way, there is a website I will post also on the lovegunsfreedom.com. It's called 911 as numbers 911review.com /errors/Pentagon. I will put the link. And you can see the different type of links. Every links they bring facts, corroborated by facts, photo, evidence, witnesses. Okay? So, and more important is the visual effect. I mean, the visual result that you can see there is a 15-foot hole. Okay? And the plane isn't there. So anyway, let's check it out. Why is it so important to talk about this? After all, Hillary would say, what difference does it make? No, it does make a difference still. That's why I'm never going to get tired. I will never back down to talk about 9/11. After all, they sold us all this police state. They sold us all the destruction of our Bill of Rights. They sold us all these illegal wars because of 9/11. We're supposed to give away, give up some of our rights to be safe. We're supposed to go to Iraq because of 9/11. We're supposed to go to Afghanistan because of 9/11. Now we are everywhere. Syria, Libya, and non-stop. Trillions of dollars. Thousands of our soldiers are dead. More thousands they are back and they are committing suicide. Millions of civilians they are being decimated and left without homes and destroyed. I mean, trillions of our dollars they've been burned. The military-industrial complex is being flourishing meanwhile. And we are the slaves paying here the price. And on top, let's not forget, because of 9/11 now, we are treated like slaves. Our Fourth Amendment is gone. The Patriot Act is still alive. And they've done many more things. They treat us like calves, like a bunch of cattle. So that's the point, guys. That's why it's so important. And more important, if we do not expose it now, they're going to be back and do more, and more. That's what I'm saying. Now, that's enough for now. I hope I'm going to have the honor to have, this gentleman here with us. And maybe have some real questions. As I said, this show is really for me the opportunity to talk openly about everything. Another thing I wanted to talk about in a book that of an author, for me is a hero. His name still Irwin-Schiff. Unfortunately died. He died just a few days ago. He was sentenced more than 14 years in jail for, evading income tax. As I said, if you want to know more about income tax, you should watch a documentary, where, by the way, you can see Irwin-Schiff, and the title is America from Freedom to Fascism by Aaron Russo. But also I invite you to find, if you're able to find it, the book by Irwin-Schiff, The Federal Mafia, How the Government Illegally Imposes and Unlawfully Collects Income Tax. Why I like this book, first of all? Regardless that you may find out, according to evidence and facts, the income tax is constitutional, legal, or not. That's not even the point. The point is this book, according to a court order, was banned. I mean, it was one of only the two books in American history to be banned, okay, through a court order. Think about it. So it's kind of, I mean, you can still find it, used copies, but you cannot really find, it's not being published anymore. But what's it going to do, you know, if you find it's going to be kind of pricey. On Amazon, probably you can find it between $100 and $150. I was able to find it on eBay for much cheaper price. But I will post on lovegunsfreedom.com a PDF link with the whole book. And this was the job of love. I really say work of love. And before we judge, before we start to say, oh, the income tax, this guy didn't want to pay his fair share, let's have an open mind. Let's read his book. You know, I read every type of books. I read Mao Zedong. I read Hitler. I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not a communist. I read everything. I read the Quran. I read the Buddhist book. I read everything I can put my hands on. Doesn't mean that I support what they're saying. Doesn't mean that I believe what people say. But for sure, I read, and I do my own researches. That's why it's still America. That's why I think it's priceless what we're doing here. We can still talk about everything, and we can read still everything. In Italy, I couldn't read some books. I would be arrested, like the Protocols of Zion, and I will talk about that next week. Now, in honor of Mr. Schiff and his soul, I have a song. It's called Show Me the Law, and I want to dedicate this song to every American or to every human being who is not afraid to stand for the truth. And I want to remind, if you want to support the show, all you have to go is to go to zana.us, www.zana.us, and with just 99 cents, you can download any of my songs. In this way, I will be able to keep providing you very free information with no censorship. Thank you very much, and God's willing, I'll talk to you next Sunday.
We know that the Federal Reserve is a private corporation. We know in 1913 you stole our nation. We know the 16th Amendment was never ratified. What are we waiting for? Let's stand up and fight. Show me the law, show me the law. We know that you're just a fraud. Show me the law that doesn't exist. This time we will resist. Show me the law, show me the law. The IRS has got to go. Show me the law, don't show me your guns. We're not afraid, we won't run. Like a parasite, we live off our lives. Mr. Aaron Russo, yes, he was right. Where in the Constitution did you ever read they can tax our labor till we bleed? Show me the law, show me the law. We know that you're just a fraud. Show me the law that doesn't exist. This time we will resist. Show me the law, show me the law. The IRS has got to go. Show me the law, don't show me your guns. We're not afraid, we won't run. Show me the law, show me the law. We know
just a fraud. Show me the law that doesn't exist, and this time